up, honey? What's up, honey love? What's up, girl? What's up, little honey love? I see you. What you doing, real Sonya? What's up, Sonya? Fat Mama Sonya. What's up, Fat Mama Sonya? What's up, Fat Mama Sonya? What's up, Mayday? Lord Mayday. What's up, boy? What's up, Lord Mayday? What's up, my boy Doc? What you say, Doc? What you say, Doc? What you say, Doc? It's my big boy, Doc. What you say? All right. Welcome back to another week, another episode of Game Dog Talk. Thank y'all for joining us. You know what I mean? And salute to the panel. We back with another excellent panel. We have in the building, of course, legendary schoolboy, Mr. Richard Garcia. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, thanks. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Good. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, indeed. And we have the legendary Bakary from Only in America Kennels in the building. How you doing today, sir?
Peace and love to the panel and all those that are in the chat.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing well. Only in America.
my brother, welcome down, Ram. Big Steppin', what's up?
You already know, man. Stepping on shit. You know, but I'm here. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Indeed. And we got the brother Eli Zachary. What's up, Eli?
What's going on, fam? What's going on?
Oh, chilling, brother, chilling. Yeah, we got some good questions for this week, man. Real good questions. And you know what I mean? So we're gonna try to dive right into it right after I do a quick roll call. City Boy Kennels in the building. Salute, family. Mike Lee, salute to you.
Hey, Mike.
El Dios de los Perros, salute.
Saludos, amigo.
Lefty, American Pitbull Terrier. Dogman RT.
What up, Dogman RT? I'm going to call you after the show, bro. Or call me if it ain't too late. I don't know how long we're going to go on. My bad, bro.
All good. Hardy Dogs, Pennsylvania. Vernon Stones. What's that? Ekant, I believe that's his name. AJ. John Kramer. Live Life Real. Salute to the brother. Miami Snoopy 305 in here. Rocket Lunch and Bulldogs. Mozzie Nation. Soul Power. Salute family. Jimmy Mack. Tony Gardner. Jodeci. Salute. Ezel Henry. Golden Sun. Arrowhead Kennels. Hugo. Luciano. Golden Sun. Smooth Monty in the building. Crandall Pledge. Big Country Mexico. Trench Line. Moji. Welsh Kennel. Salute, family. Eddie Thomas. Trey Brown. Run them down, Dread. What's happening with it, man? Salute to you. BFS Kennels. Doug in the building. D-Lo 87. 614 Tree. Officially Game Bread. Brandon Blue. Salute to everybody in the building. I can't read everybody, but much love and much appreciation to everybody that joined us. My brother Bank Statement Kennels, I see you in here. James Robinson, salute. Much love to everybody that's in the building.
Big Bang Hank. What up, cuz?
Yes, sir. Let's go and start cooking.
Yeah.
Man.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to send condolences and prayers to the family of Dr. Rojas, who recently passed away. He was a longtime dog man. Que descanse en paz el señor Dr. Rojas. Bendiciones a su familia.
Yes, indeed.
He was a good guy, man.
Dr. Rojas. Yeah, he was real cool. Always had his little shirt buttoned up to the top, real smooth.
Yeah.
That was a good dude, man.
Yeah, he was good people, man.
Yeah, you could feel comfortable leaving your dog in his aftercare. He wasn't going to breed your dog, none of that shit.
Exactly.
Rest in peace to a good one. Hey, man, we losing a lot of the old timers, man. So y'all try to reach out to the ones in your area and just talk to them. You ain't even got to talk about dogs. Just fuck with them, man. You know, they ain't going to be here forever.
Most definitely.
That's true. It's true, brother.
Yeah, rip to the brother.
Yes, indeed. And salute to Chief Killerho in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation, family. He says stuck at work this weekend, can't take in the whole show, but can Schoolboy tell the story about going into TDK? He says heard the story from TDK, would like Schoolboy's side.
Geez, and he, this has happened a couple of times, and I just don't recall. I know, man, this was a long time ago. I'm talking probably almost 40 years ago. I'm gonna have to holler at him and then have him remind me. But that happened with Lionel too. He was telling me how we went into each other. My dog got on his muzzle, this and that, and I could not remember what happened. And it's totally blank. And then I mentioned it to my son. He goes, "Yeah, Dad. Yeah, I remember our dog got on his muzzle." My son remembered, but I couldn't remember. I'm sorry, man. But I have a lot of respect for TDK. We've known each other for decades, man. And I just I'm lost. Sorry. But I'll get the info. Once he tells me, it'll refresh my memory, and then maybe next week I can mention it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, right. Kendrick, you start using that program I sent you in, and you're gonna be sending y'all the goods. Y'all ain't using them.
Salute, Kendrick. See you in the building, brother. All right, let's get to the action, man. First question. What would the panel say is a proper yard setup today if you can't use chains? Brother Bach, we can start with you. What would you say is a good yard setup for somebody who can't use chains?
Oh, yeah. Well, most of the shit, a lot of places don't even allow chains, or you got to keep them on there just for a little bit of time or get caught, get fined for it. I always like using a lot of kennel runs myself. I use the kennel runs and or off the ground pins, so that's what you use. Kennel runs or off the ground pins.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Brother Eli, what's your take?
Oh, my bad. Look, I was looking at something. No, like Brother Carver was saying, the kennel runs, and making sure you got everything set up, above ground pins. I mean, that's about it that you can do, and making sure you got the right gauge on your kennel runs, because bulldogs are different from other dogs. You go get a little bitty 20 gauge fence, and they chew up out of there, and you'll have you a problem. You're putting the kennel runs too close together, and they fence fighting, breaking their teeth and all that. Make sure you got your kennel runs spaced out the right distance apart, a foot, 2 feet apart, so they're not sticking arms through fences and all of that stuff. And make sure you got the right gauge fencing. I believe last time we had this discussion, everybody was talking about no less than 8 or 12 gauge. The lower the number, the thicker the fencing. So those rhino guard kennel runs, they're better grade. They're better grade of kennel run. Make sure you got the right grade of fencing. And make sure you got guards. If you got climbers, make sure you got the right guards to guard against them climbing over the top. Whether it's you putting some ceiling over the top of it, or whether it's you lining the top of it with guards so they can't climb over the top. But yeah, kennel runs.
Yes, sir. Mr. Garcia, what's your take?
Same. Where I live is kind of unique. I'm in California. Everybody knows how California is. But in my area, because there's so much agriculture and farming and livestock and hunting and all that, we probably have, chain laws inside city limits, but they don't enforce it. We have leash laws. They don't enforce it. But if you live out in the county, you can keep your animals however you want. You can keep your dogs however you want. There's no, even if your dogs run loose out in the county, they can't do anything about it, just because of the hunting laws that we have in this area. So it's different. It might be different wherever everybody else lives. It might be different compared city to county. you know. But other than that, if you have those stipulations, you know, a kennel run is the best bet. They almost require kennel runs, I think, you know, in other places. It's just different here. You can even have livestock in town here, you know, not cattle, but you can have hogs and chickens and ducks and all kinds of stuff, right? You know, in the front, you go around, there's chickens all over the place, you know. But the county, there's virtually no stipulations for any of that stuff.
Yes, sir. Welcome down, Ram. What's your take? Best setup.
Shit, I'll have to go with the kennel panels too, man, because that's the only other good way. But you got to get the good ones, like we said before. Don't fucking cheap out and get the Raglio chain link shit. That shit'll work for a Labrador Retriever, not a game bred dog. So you got to spend a little bit of money. I'm just lucky enough to still be able to put shit on the chain, you know. So yeah, I ain't really worried about. Even though I do got kennels, you know, most of the time, no, I try to put them on the chain because I like how they look. They seem to get a little bit soft when they just in the kennel. No matter how much you fucking, you know, fuck with them every day and all of that, they just look a little bit couch potato-y. The ones on the chain, you know, got that hard body to them. So I prefer the chain. But if you're in an area where you can't keep a dog on the chain, gotta go with the kennels. Good kennels with a good solid roof on top of it, and you know, maybe some concrete underneath it, because these motherfuckers do got terrier in them. And if you don't know what terrier mean, they go to ground. And them hoes.
Ram then dropped off. Let me get him back in here. Having some technical difficulties. Ram, let me see here.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back in here. All right, but anyway, let me get to Meredith Campbell. Salute to the brother Meredith Campbell in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation. Family says, gotta come through and show my appreciation for the knowledge. Salute, brothers. Thank you, Meredith Campbell. I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you very much, man. Salute to you.
Yeah, my bad, man. Motherfuckers keep calling me. They know every Friday at this time I'm doing something, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Wait, bitch, the dick gonna be here. Goddamn.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. But so check it out. Everybody hit that question. Next question. What is the true meaning of line breeding? Mr. Garcia, let's start with you. You're on mute, Mr. Garcia. Let me get you off of that mute.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The true meaning of line breeding is it's concentrating on one individual. That's generally it. Now, dog people, we've kind of changed that, you know, our interpretation. It could mean bloodlines, you know, line breeding bloodlines. But line breeding is concentrating on one individual. You have his or her influence throughout your family of dogs, throughout your own particular bloodline. Like Boyles did with Dirty Mary, you know, she's pretty much in everything, you know. When you add a relative of that dog, then it becomes inbreeding. Like say you have his brother or sister in the pedigree, you know, or their father or mother or something like that, you know. When you add that individual's particular family members, that's line breeding. We don't look at it like that because I think it's because, you know, you can inbreed pit bulls more than you can some other types of animals. So we've made line breeding where it's just family breeding, you know, uncle to niece, aunt to nephew, you know, half brother, half sister, cousins, stuff like that. But the true meaning of line breeding is just concentrating on one individual, and you have his influence or her influence. Say, you know, he could be the sire and the grandsire, or he could be the grandsire and an uncle, you know, and the other animals you have that you have bred him to moving forward, even through his sons and daughters, those are just catalysts to help you concentrate on that particular individual. So that's what science says line breeding is. we kind of tweaked it a little bit, where you know, we use it in terms of putting particular bloodlines together, like you line breed on Carver blood, or you line breed on Bolio dogs, or Jeep dogs, or whatever it is. But that's not really the true definition of line breed. It's concentrating on one particular individual.
All right. Brother Bach, would you agree with that? Not on line breeding?
First of all, anytime you call dear brother schoolboy first, I mean, I'm just not gonna have too many disagreements with the brother. So I mean, we almost sound like a parrot mimicking and trying to sound anything different from everything he just clearly stated. So I mean, basically what he said is, a line breed is something like, okay, a brother-sister breeding is inbred, a father to daughter breeding inbred, okay, son to the mom inbred. But if you take two litter mates out of a breeding and you breed to two separate bottom halves, and then those two bred, that'll be line bred off of that particular dog that both had the same parents, okay? So, I mean, that's about as clear as I can make it on the line bred and the inbreed.
Yes, sir. And I'm sure.
Yeah, half brother, half sister. You know, Boyles, he lived by that.
Correct.
If you look at his peds, you know, that was his real simple. Right. You know, he wasn't no rocket science. He'll tell you himself. He's just a country dude. You know.
Let me just and this other thing. When you say line bred, it's just a milder version of inbred. It's inbred, but a milder version of it. Just think of it that way. All right.
Yeah, it's like inbred with outs in it. You know.
Correct. Exactly, man. Same exact.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything to add to that, Eli? You want me to move on to the next question?
Same thing over here. You know, half brother, half sister. Like they were saying, you know, Balls comes to mind. The Boots and Bark family, where you got Irish Justice and Buster, have brothers off the same breeding, but you know, different tops. That's that type of thing. The focus being on one breeding. That's line breeding to me. Same thing they were saying. You know. So,
but would it be inbreeding if you bred like how my dog GC is bred? His father is also the great great grandfather to the dam. You know,
that is a line breeding still, and for me, that is the type of breedings that I really like. That is that back crossing thing that we talked about before. And one thing that I was talking about the Thompson when we first started talking. That's that thing about pulling genetics back forward that are in the background. When you bring an older dog back in the front of the picture, you start to pull genetics back forward and pull your gene pool towards a consistency of that individual. So that's line breeding to me, focusing on that same type of deal where you have your outs in between, but you focused on that older individual. And that's a very good technique of breeding that a lot of people are not using these days compared to the old timers that were building families around dogs.
Yes, sir. Y'all smash the like button while you're in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button. All right. How important is dog grooming for the American Pit Bull Terrier? This brother here is talking about clipping dogs' nails. He wants to know how important that is in the American Pit Bull Terrier. Is it as important as it is with other breeds? Brother Bach, what's your take on that?
Well, I would hope that grooming is being done by people and animals. Hell, most animals they want to wash their own ass and keep their own self up if they can. You know what I mean? So, with that said, who the hell can have a dog with nails just curled up around? You know, just curled like that. I mean, you must don't plan on doing any work with it. So, yes, some dogs you don't have to worry about clipping their nails if the dogs are actually getting cement, like if they're walking on sidewalks and cement type ground, and they'll actually keep their own nails down. But if you don't have that, there's some like dirt things in that area. Yes, I would keep their nails clipped and they had their asses washed and clean because I want them clean. I don't want anything in their ears. No, you can't tell if you got ticks, fleas, or nothing on the dogs if you ain't washing their asses. You know, so I want to keep them cleaned and nails done. That's a weekly thing for me. So that's very important.
Yes, sir. Mr. Garcia, your take?
Yeah, same what Bach said. You know, if you're active with your dogs or you walk, especially if you live in town, you know, the dogs are going to keep their own nails down. You know, even out in the country, if you're running them on the roads, maybe across the street or you know, dirt. If the dirt not real soft, you know, they'll keep their self down. But if you ain't, then yeah, that regular maintenance is necessary. You know, it interferes with their walking. Anyway, it actually hurts the dog if they're too long. Like Bob said, if they're curled under, it hurts when they walk. You know, so that's important to keep them down, and they should be bathed regularly. You know, cleaned off regularly. You know, it's like anything else. You know, if you funky, you're gonna attract funky shit. You know. And you know, flies and bugs and all that, they'll be attracted to a stinky ass dog. You know, that's one of the things I noticed with how, not judge, but how I could tell how some people were maintaining their dogs. If the dogs stink, you know, even if their breath stinks, the dogs ain't supposed to have bad breath.
Correct.
You know, and that's how you can tell maybe they need some upkeep or something.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed. Yes, indeed. Brother
Okay.
Eli, Brother Eli, but salute to officially Game Bread Monk in the super chat. Appreciate the love and support, family. Thank you very much. Brother Eli, why don't you take this one first? He says, do you guys do raw food feeding only or only on keeps? Why don't you take that one first?
It's funny that he asked that. I prefer to do it all the time for the simple fact of what Mr. Garcia just said. So it ran. When I feed a lot of these different dog foods, I know the dog foods are not good quality because I start smelling the animal's breath, and that's the thing that bothers me the most. Because when I start smelling it, I feel like something ain't right in their gut. They ain't getting enough probiotics. They're not getting enough nutrition. Something not right. So when I switch over to the raw, today was one of those things that I noticed. I did not smell it. I've been working a lot of hours, so it was more convenient to feed dog food. And I fed dog food, and I started to smell their breath stinking, and I started to notice the difference in the coat and everything. And it was funny that Mr. Garcia had said that, and then here we go with this question. So yeah, I try to feed raw year round outside of the key too. And if you'll see right now, I got a variation of feeds. I have the maintenance feed that I was feeding, and then I have myself where I'm getting more into my keep feed, where I start to add with different vitamins and different nutrition as far as the raw feed go. And leading off from the last question, part of that is, walking the dog and making sure the nails and everything is groomed, and making sure everything is right. And today I was doing a wash, and like y'all said, Mr. Garcia keeping them all and Bakar keeping them all washed up. I was washing the damn dog, and he yelped a little bit when I got around his ears, and I said, "Damn, what's going on with your ears?" But if I had not been washing that dog and grooming that dog right, I would have never known something was going on with his ears. So that's something I'm looking at right now. I might have to run around of antibiotics on him and clean his ears out with some peroxide and cotton balls. Keep your dogs clean. Keep grooming your dogs. Don't just let your dog sit on the chain and then all of a sudden you look up and you ready to, oh man, I'm ready to go mess with him, and he got an infection. But yeah, I do feed raw year round if I can. But sometimes it's more convenient to feed dog food.
Yes, sir. Welcome down, Ram. What's your take on feeding raw? Do you do it year round? Do you only do it in keeps? And also, the last question about grooming, dog grooming.
Well, I'll take on the grooming one first and say, man, that's fucking cleanliness next to godliness. You feel me? Your dog fucked up, he ain't gonna perform right. So for sure, I walk. I don't got a bunch of dogs, so I'm able to walk them out. So I really don't got that problem with the nails. Like OG Bach was saying, the black top and the concrete take care of that because I walk them, a couple miles a day on it, and we good. But I do got a fucking little osculating little fucking nail trimmer too for the times when I would, you know, put one in shape, you don't want no long nails getting caught in between the slats of the fucking slat mill. Fuck your dog whole fucking keep up and you fuck around and lose. And as far as the raw go, yeah, I feed both year round because again, I don't got a bunch of dogs, so I feed raw and I feed origin. So you know, but again, I only got a few dogs, so it's not really hurting me at all. And the dogs look good, you know. Even when they winter fat, they still got good muscle definition and shit like that. So yeah, I feed them both, bro.
Yes, sir.
Oh hey, yeah, I asked Hardy to chill out, live life, you know. Stall him out, DIBO.
I don't even see what's gonna happen.
Oh,
Um,
nothing.
oh, okay.
You know, live life, just being there trying to chain check everybody. Like Hardy, cool, bro. I asked him to chill, man.
Live like
What
live
it
like
take 7-8? He
trying,
up there, huh?
he trying to chain check him. He say he bully. Hey, Robert Tucker in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation, family. Appreciate the love. He says, how y'all feel about a 4-time inbred brother sister top and 3-time inbred brother sister bottom? Y'all think the dog would have problems? Mr. Garcia, what's your take on that?
Is it the same blood on top and bottom? That would be my first question.
I think
If
it's
it's
probably different.
if it's you know, 4 times inbred on the top of a particular family and 3 times inbred on the bottom, and when you put those together, that's an outcross, and that's you should get performance. You know, inbreeding is very how you say, you got to be careful with it. You know,
Right.
Bach will tell you that. If anybody
Right.
ever seen his pets, you'd give him
Right.
$1 million to get one of his dogs, man. But he'll tell you, and I'll tell you too, you have to be very selective. You got to call a lot, and a lot of problems can come from it depending on how far you go with it.
Right.
It can be done, but I don't want to insult anybody, but in today's age, most people ain't gonna do it properly.
Yep.
Brother Bach, your take?
Well, like Brother Garcia was saying, you have to know that every line isn't able to do this either. Like you can inbreed on, say for instance, Bolio dogs. To me, that's the best line I've ever seen that you can inbreed the shit out of them, and they don't lose hardly no performance at all. You can have a 70% Bolio dog, and that damn dog is hell. You understand? I'm saying it's still gonna have good mouth, good wrestling ability, and it doesn't even really mess with make their hearts that big or lungs messed up, or they're not too crazy where they're not able to think and process. They still smart as shit. So every line you just can't inbreed on. You know what I mean? So it takes. Then you have to be able to cull those inbred dogs that come out with deformities or anything that you feel like is a genetic flaw. If you have to get rid of the whole litter, I do. I will get rid of a whole litter.
That's it.
You understand? And then if it's 11 puppies and there's just one pup in there, we just take the one pup that at least from the outside looking at, they look fine or they act fine. But even if that dog look good and it's showing like their motor skills is messed up, we'll put that one down too. So sometimes you can have 11 pups and only use 2 of them out of it. Then you just take them 2, and then you try that if you just want to continue to preserve that strain. And I've seen them go from where they go to like 20-something pound dogs, and we got some that's like 50 pounds. Like they'll go through a size change, So it just every line has its own where you can do it with. Jeep dogs come to mind. You're able to do a lot with some good pure Jeep stuff. Some of them will come out look like they crash dummies, where they just straight ahead with no goddamn brains. Then you'll get some that'll come out that's smart as hell and has it all. So it's just different. Like you have to know your line and know your family to be able to know can you do it. But yes, you will suffer some deformities if you continue going in. Yeah, that's you definitely gonna run into that.
Brother Ram, what's your take on it, bro?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to follow up the OGs, man. They stole all the good words, cuz. Like,
Hey, that's
you can't.
okay. I can go. I'll give you another question.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Back to that grooming thing, just for anybody starting out or anybody don't know, there's a term called "you cut me to the quick," and what it means, the quick on a dog's nails. If you notice, there's a nail, right, and then it gets back, keep going back forward. It starts turning white. That white part, and even on your own nails, you can tell that's the quick. You want to. If you're trimming the nails, you don't want to cut it that far back because it starts bleeding.
Yeah.
So that's just a tip on
big tip.
Grooming dogs. Yeah.
You
can't.
I've done it a million times.
Yeah, me too.
Me
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to cut off a little bit than a lot,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You get back to the wick of that nail. Yeah, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
Smooth Monty in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation, family. He says, Brother Bakari, I need a dog in about 3 years.
Oh, Bach out of dogs, man. He ain't got no dogs, bro. It's hard as hell to get the dog.
I still breed my dogs. I'm retired from active duty, but I'm never gonna be without my hounds, man. I got to have them. I ain't been married in a minute, but I'm gonna be married to the dogs for life. So I keep them.
The people who got them though is stingy as hell with them. Like I dead ass tried to buy 3 or 4 of them, cash in hand. Everybody was like, "Fuck no." One cat fucking fake like he was having phone troubles and hung
Not
up.
only that, there's a lot of fake ass dudes around here claiming to have the blood, and bruh, they don't. Fake pets, false shit all together. Like a dude went up, grabbed some of my pets, and then went on Facebook saying they had this shit for sale. Then there's a person said they had a dog that would just put up there. One dog would just put up there like on a possible breeding. This motherfucker goes in Texas and says he has the actual dog. Shit was never made. Just a pet put up to see how it would look. Wow. He said he had the particular dog at his house. So, and trying to goddamn have people come to him to stud to the motherfucker. So, there's a lot of fake shit, and I ain't trying to be funny. You always want to go to the originators first of who actually deals with the shit, has the shit. It's like a person saying they want a Tant dog and they went to everybody but Tant. You want a Tom Garner dog, went to everybody but Tom. Or want a Boudreaux dog, went to everybody. Then they want to come back and show you some shit, and then they want to ask me, what do you think about it? And the first thing I look at, it's like, why is you asking me? You understand? If you was happy with the shit you found from wherever you found it at, then be happy with it. But I'm not going to start telling you if it's official or not. You understand? Enjoy your dog. But I would always go to those who got the source of it. And to be honest, it ain't but a small few who got that blood. I'm not saying it arrogantly like it's better than no other bloodline, but no, I love it. We just kind of kept it tight. Really, none of the shit was supposed to got out. The dogs I bred wasn't never supposed to got out. But a few people start letting the shit go. Some of it. But no, it's not a lot out there. But there's a lot of fakes.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Big Dose 51 Trey in the super chat. Appreciate the love, man. He says salute 78 and the dog men on the panel. Much love, Big Dose. Appreciate you, man. We got Wicked Rabbit in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation. Says experience with Blackjack Gator Hounds traits. He says as well Mims versus Cottenham strains. Why is it that you want a fast scratcher instead of a slow? Do y'all love,
my bad.
He said, do y'all love the war cry before release? Well, did they love? You mean, because this is all retired men, and they on here for anybody listening. These are dog men who are giving us their experience and their stories from way back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. All right, so nobody has any knowledge of anything current. So anything we talk about on the show is they're talking about from their past experiences. So I don't want anybody to get confused. So, so let's start with we could go with Eli. Any experience? Do you know anything about the Blackjack Gator Hound traits in Mims versus Cottingham strains?
I mean that once again we talk about this, and some of them do have certain traits that you look for when you look at those lines, but every breeder that has those lines are not going to have the same traits, because that's a general type statement. That's general, and when you make your selection from your for your dogs, you might breed off of one individual out of this line, and I may breed off another, and they may produce completely different things. So I have had buddies that had dogs that were super athletic and fast, and I out of those lines and could punch real good. And then I've had buddies that had dogs that could punch real good, but were dumb as a box of rocks. They keep on they just were straightforward. They were strong, you know. They had good control, good body control and balance and all that, but they were dumb as a box of rocks. So it all depends on where you're going to go get it from. You know, that's not one of those things that you can just say. But yeah, in general, when I think about blackjack dogs, I think about dogs that are punch, finish, you know, that are strong and you know with good speed, good ability. You know, sometimes you talk to some people, they're gonna say blackjack dogs are they have all of those traits, but they're gonna talk about blackjack dogs like they talk about Jethro dogs. They may not. They may have a clock up their ass. That's just that's the generalize it, but that's not every line. And if you know what I mean by a clock up their ass, then you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And salute to okay, I got before I get there, let me go to uh Brother Ram. What's your take on Blackjack Gator Hounds and Mims and Cottingham strands?
As far as the blackjack gator shit go, you could see the difference in it too. Whereas blackjack, you could see the heavy rascal influence in him. He was more like a Eli type of dog, you know, get in there and fuck you up. Whereas Gator, you know, was more tend to be on the red boy side of the game as far as going, you know. The screaming in the corner, I used to love that shit, but I also hated it when we wasn't in the corner and they motherfucker just in the backyard barking the whole neighborhood down. And slow scratching, that turned into no scratching. I never liked the slow scratching dog, man. The motherfuckers would pack it up like goddamn Alibaba. You feel me? The slow scratching and you pack that shit up and stop.
Yes,
But yeah,
sir.
that's my take on the Blackjack Gator. The Cottingham and the Mim shit, I haven't seen too much of it to give you an honest opinion. You know, on West Coast the most, you know, we got our own dogs out here, so I never got a chance to see, you know, enough of those to make a good assessment. I've seen some with it crossed in there, you know, way back in the day with the word to the baby stuff as far as the Cottingham go, and them produce some good dogs. But the Mims, I ain't seen a bunch of people around with it, you know. Not saying it's good or bad. I just don't have, you know, enough experience with it to give you an honest opinion.
Yes, sir. And Brother Bach, I want you to take the second half of the question is why did you want a fast scratcher instead of a slow?
Okay, if I can touch on my brother Ram's thing about Alibaba. Let's first of all, Alibaba was a hell of a dog. He wasn't in the best care from what was told to me. He wasn't even physically really able to do what he had to do. I heard something about his mouth was some I can't recall, but I mean, and then you know, none of them gonna just keep going forever. So, I mean, Alibaba, what he won about 7, 8 of them, you know, and some say he won 9 and lost to 10. So, I mean, even though he scratched slow, as they say, some of the best dogs I've seen, slow scratching dogs. They steady as they come. They are never going to, then they come out of there. So I'm saying, I done seen them scratch where they got there, knocked the walls down 100 miles an hour and then stop to a pure hope standing on all fucking 4 in the corner. Went from screaming and motherfucker don't even know how to holler no more other than holler when they get bit. So None of those factors matter. Scratching hard don't mean they won't stop fast as shit. Scratching slow don't mean they'll stop at all. You know what I mean? I done seen it all. So, me personally, I like a dog that comes over controlled. Now, I like hard car crashing dogs too, certain to a degree, but only time I care to really have those dogs are when they can't bite. And I'm really just trying to out scratch you. Then I'm just trying to call a scratch on my own shit so I can get there to 20, 30 scratches in there to beat you up on a scratch to make that dog say, damn, this one ain't gonna stop.
Right.
But if I got a killing ass dog, shit, he can walk across there and kill you, and I'm just as satisfied. You understand? So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It really, the scratching and the hollering and me personally don't care for no hollering dogs. I don't care. But if you're going to scratch fast, bitch, don't you slow down. And if you goddamn scratch slow, all you can do is get faster. But as long as you just go across there, at the end of the day, just don't change the pattern that you've been doing, and then I'm cool with that. You understand? So, like I said, no, I really like a dog like certain dogs I had, especially on my Bolio stuff. They'll scratch across and go sideways in the air and grab you by the head. You know what I mean? So they give you like a fake out type scratch. Like, so it's different dogs, you know, to do certain shit. But long as the dog has a plan to what they're gonna do once they get there is the most important. Not so much how the fuck they go there. It's what you're gonna do when you get over that motherfucker that's important to me. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Well said, brother. Well said. Mr. Garcia, what's your take on that?
Yeah, the fast scratching, screaming, those were traits in my dogs. So I like to see it. And you know, like Bach said, if they don't bite hard, they can discourage a dog.
Big time.
If the dog got discouragement in them. But those were traits in my dogs. I liked it. I liked them. But again, it don't mean you know, what happens at the end matters, not you know, at the beginning or the middle, like I always say. Yep. How do they finish out? That's what matters. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you want to talk about Bully Son Eli, for example, the Bully Son dogs were like that, screaming, come 100 miles an hour. The Eli Jr. stuff was more quiet and steady, and they didn't do it. They didn't do a lot of hollering. They just go. They don't hesitate, but they just go. And right. It's almost like they pointing at you. You know, they're aiming their shot, and they're watching you. They don't make a lot of noise. They don't do this and that. You know, so you know, for me, because it was part of my family of dogs, I liked seeing it. I liked having it. You know, the you know, all the stuff they said about blackjack gator dogs, same. I wasn't too familiar with the Mims. What's his name? Old man.
Carl.
No, Hillard. Bishop Hillard had some of it.
Okay.
The ones I seen, they could bite. I mean, massive damage. I don't know how much of the Mims they had in it, but they had made some crosses with the Goober and the what did he do? Snooty and stuff like that. Cottingham's, I didn't see too much of it. Not really familiar with it. That's about it.
Hey, I wanted to touch on the Mims dogs. I always liked the Mims dogs. I always liked them because they were steady dogs, well-rounded dogs, and just, you know, good consistency. You know, I knew of one male out here towards my way in the south, and he just was a good representative. I know I think it was Rusty and Breeding. They were real nice, solid dogs. You know, off the LeBlanc stuff and Mr. Mims stuff. So I like those dogs. I like those dogs. They real solid. And the Cottingham stuff was coming real solid at one point with the red man stuff. They were they were real well-rounded dogs. I knew they were at one point were real hot. The yeller stuff and all of that. So I mean, you just have to get it from the right sources. I mean, the Carolinas still have a good little bunch of that, and down here in Texas, it's still some good Mims stuff too. So you just get it from the right people, man. I know the Carolinas had that stuff real nice though. So yeah, and on the scratching and screaming stuff, hey, if you quiet and you stalking and you going, hey, it's all good with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And salute, major salute to 2320 Kennels in the building. Much love, much appreciation in that super chat. Said keep it 100%. Thank you, family. You know what I'm
Salute.
saying? Make sure y'all go
Salute.
check out
Salute.
2320. Go check them out on YouTube, man. Got some good hounds over there. I got a pup from him. He's keeping it for me right now until I clear some room over here. But you know, he definitely got some heat rocks over there, man. Real well bred animals. I'm definitely I got a little bitch, you know what I mean, that's on the way out here next month. And I got something coming from City Boy too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it in the family, you dig? Make sure y'all go check
Hey,
them out. Go
hey,
ahead, what you
2320K. I'm gonna change that smoke detector too. He hit me on my video. Tell me, hey man, change that smoke detector battery. So I got you. Bro.
Hey,
yes,
man,
sir.
you might as well just go on and send old Doc on out here then, man. Go on, free up your kennel spot. I got you. It'd
Nah,
be like
Doc
both
can't go
ours.
nowhere.
I just keep them at my house.
Nah, Doc can't leave my sight right now.
Thank you, honey.
Hey, but
Oh yeah,
nah,
you don't
but
want to be on camera. My daughter just come out here. Usually she says hi. She goes, "I look bad. I don't want to be on camera." I said, "Oh, that's all right. Go comb your hair."
hey,
I got a 12-hour shift tomorrow.
Yeah, you got a 12-hour shift, so she going to bed.
yes
No.
indeed.
Hey, Mr. 216, no, man, that wasn't me. I ain't that old, bro. Y'all giving me too much credit. You know, I'm a hell of a motherfucker, but I ain't have flash. One cat asked me if I went into Black Pass. Like, I was a kid when them shits happened, man. I'm only 41, about to be 42, bro.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Let me see here. Make sure y'all go check out 2320 Kennels. You know what I'm saying? Good dog man right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sub to him.
Yeah, he got. I think he still got some stand the man shit on the ground. I don't know if he still got none left, but check it out. Jimmy Mack in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation in the super chat. Salute to you, family. Salute. Let me see here. Real game in that super chat. Appreciate the love. He says, best scratcher bred dog you've seen hunt ever. Best scatterbred. I said scratcher, my bad. Best scatterbred dog you've seen hunt ever. Let me start with Brother Bot. What's the best scatterbred dog that you know of that you ever seen hunt?
I mean, the crazy thing is I don't know nobody's dog's pet when I see them doing their
Right.
thing. Nope. You know what I mean? So I'd be lying. I don't even ask them how they bred. Unless they super awesome, then I'd be like, hey man, if they care to say it. But you know what I mean? But I'd be lying if I said. I mean, I've seen a lot of good scratching dogs, none that nobody would just pretty much know, like no household name shit. But or as some like household name dogs. I'm sure it's probably a lot of them, but I don't really know their pet to know how they're bred, so I can't answer that.
Yes, sir. Bach, like, man, he put that shit in front of me, he's dead. I don't give a fuck about that. Hey, what's your take, Mr. Garcia?
Yeah, it's funny that not funny, haha, but that Bach mentioned that because back in the day, nobody told you how the dogs were bred.
No.
You know, I didn't find out sometimes till years later, and now
Right.
everybody, you know, they want to show you how their dogs are bred. You know, it's just something that wasn't done that much. You know, you might find out here or there, even like in some of my books, you know, or some of the stories in my books, I'll mention the dog. It's a good dog, or he did this and that. I don't have the breeding. I might know the sire, you know, like that Oregon dog I talk about. He's off of Champion Thunder from St. Benedict, but I don't know what his mama was. I never did find out. Maybe it's online now, but a lot of them, you know, unless I knew you personally and we talked dogs, I really didn't know how the dogs were bred. The other thing, when they say scatterbred, that's a negative term. People throw it around a lot because you see they either look at a pedigree and they're not familiar with the dogs, or they look at the pedigree and they go back and it comes from several different bloodlines. And like I mentioned before, most breeders, that's how they develop their family of dogs, from several different bloodlines. So if there's performance behind it, if there's you know, some quote unquote science to their breeding, or there's some method to their madness, it's not scatterbred. Scatterbred, like I said on a video years and years ago, scatterbred is shit. It's junk. It's no good. That's why that term was made up, or that's how it used to be referred to. Now it's kind of different. It's just people unfamiliar with certain dogs or whatever, and they just say, well, that's scatterbred, you know. And I've seen some pets, they look scatterbred to me, you know. Another thing, people will say that's watered down. You know, watered down means loss of performance, no, you know, like that. I can't look at a pet without knowing the individuals to know if it's watered down or not. There's nobody can do that just by looking at the pet. So if there's performance behind it, it's not watered down. If there's performance behind it, it's not scatterbred. If there's not, then yeah, they might be. That's that.
Well, can I say, let me say something to that. And it holds some truth what you just said, but not all truth. Meaning, what people say scatterbred is what's not line bred or inbred. That's what some people call scatterbred. That's what most people call scatterbred. So if it's not line bred, or you ain't got no straight hybrid vigor crosses of, say, a red boy, say, to a JOCKO. It's down there 50% JOCKO up top and 60% red boy in the bottom. They'll look at that as a cross, but still they'll look at that and won't say scatterbred. But if you got some MAYDAY, some Chinaman, some BOLIO, some Paladin, some ZEBO, some Jeep, and you got that all in there, and that's basically that, they're going to call it scatterbred. It's not saying that the dog ain't fit, or it's just saying that it's not, we can't say how the fuck we can go back there to get this again, because we have nothing to connect, no dots to. There's every fucking thing in here. So that's a scatterbred dog, if I may say.
Yeah. You know what, Bach? That's what I'm seeing a lot of, man. So if that's what it is, that's what it is, because they'll even post, you know, or comment, you know, this is Jeep, Red Boy, Carver, ZEBO, Eli, you know, Turtle Buster. So yeah, I would agree with you with that. You know, my intention was, you know, if you're following traits and you're putting different lines together, you know, that's more of what I meant. But you know, I agree with you on that, because a lot of the stuff I see, man, it don't make no sense, and they I don't know why they do it. You know, apparently in Europe they do that a lot. They do is out in some places they outcross a lot. You know, it's this blood, that blood, this, that, and you're always looking for.
And if I can one more now, like you said, it's funny you mentioned Europe. Now, a lot of the dogs over in Europe, they're scatterbred dogs. Okay, they're nice as shit, but there's a family of scatterbred dogs. They'll keep it scatterbred. They hardly ever tighten up anything. Yeah, you're just gonna see a whole bunch of that. It's gonna have, the names are gonna be like the same name, so it might have whatever Russian name or whatever name, and it's gonna have that family. But it's just like you got the Jumbos and the Disneys. They won't mix their shit, and if you mix the shit, they will have a fit. But they both scatterbred fucking dogs, families of scatterbred dogs, but both two great families of dogs with two separate traits. Okay, so you know what I mean. But all I'm saying is, a lot of the dogs in Mexico are things that, even the Tex-Mex dogs. A person would say, well, damn, the Tex-Mex, you can get a whole bunch of Tex-Mex shit. That's some good ass shit. But it's got several fucking Eli dogs in there, different strains of this and a little bit of that and that. But they didn't concentrate on the traits of all them different strains to be these rough chest killing type dogs. You know what I mean? Or stifles. But it's from strains of different dogs that they just took the traits of all and called it to. They got it to a certain trait, but they're from a scatterbred line. Okay, so anyway,
to that, if you're talking about breeding, you know, when you do that, what we're talking about, you know, you're gonna have some success. You know, if you ain't following the traits, you're gonna, you know, when you throw a bunch of shit together, you're going to have some success, but there's not going to be a lot of consistency. That's the problem.
No, it could, and I'm agreeing. Right.
Yeah. With that scatterbreeding, that's the problem. You can get something good, maybe 1-2 generations, and they ain't going to tell you this, but I know it because I've seen it. Is they may have a few that are good, but the majority of them ain't, and they ain't gonna tell you about those ones that ain't no good. And they'll get a good one, they'll run with it. You know, you see them 5, 6, 7-time winners and all that. But the litter mates ain't that good. After 3, 4 generations of doing that, it all turns to shit.
Correct.
If you don't concentrate on individuals, or you don't concentrate on traits, or you don't have some line breeding, even loose line breeding, some inbreeding, some tight line breeding, you're gonna lose it. And over time, you're gonna be farther behind than when you first fucking started. You know, that's my experience.
There's the truth.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna chime in. I wanted to chime in on that. I agree with you. You know, the old school, the OGs, y'all been around. But I did see it once, and they made me a believer. The difference in those breedings was I seen somebody their description of what they were doing. I was like, I turned down dogs off of grand champions, and I'm like, I don't know, that shit too loose for me. And then I look at the dogs, and the dogs are good as shit. And then I asked them, what the hell? What was the concentration? What was the focus on this? And the focus was the concentration was building a gene pool that had the most superior genes in it. And those dogs, like the dogs that are in Europe, they they pull from that gene pool. So it was one superior athlete after another. But then I started to notice. I said, okay, now 2 generations later, after you done did all of that, you're doing something different. And you're like, yeah. You're like, I gotta start tightening that shit back up. So it relayed back to what you all were saying. They scattered it, but the method to the madness was built in the gene pool, and then they started to tighten it back up. And even with Mayday in the beginning, you see that in the beginning of those breedings where it was Mayday, and then it was some cross, and then it started going back to the family. You know, but that was one of the big things that I did see. And then even like with the line we were talking about, TDK's line, he's probably one of the most prolific breeders that I know of private stock. Because back then his stock was private. You know, when I was learning stuff and talking with him and came to sit down on his couch, that was one of the things. His Tobe Rose dogs were his focus, but the Buster Arts Missy and the Handsome Bolio stuff and the Triple Out stuff, those were little catalysts that were in between that was coming between it. And he bred a hell of a line. And then he started to concentrate more on this breeding with these dogs here and there, and more on this breeding. And then you start to see where it just says his name, and people are like, "That's a family." But before people were like, oh, these dogs are scatterbred. I don't know. But you outcross his dogs to anything, even when they outcrossed it to the old Carver, the old raghead stuff, it produced great. When they outcrossed it to the tramp stuff, it produced great. When they outcrossed it to the ball, it it produced great because he had a focus and that concentration. And when they start to scatter like that and they breed performance, and then they come back and line breed and sink in on those consistent traits that they deem the best or those qualities that they wanted to pull from, they set markers in the generations. And then you start to actually see the quality be able to reproduce. But if you keep going scatterbreed, just like the OG said, you're not gonna see your quality.
Yeah. Yep, that's what you have to do. You have to, at some point you gotta, and I've said this before too, you breed your dogs however you want. At some point in your breedings, they all gonna be related. They all gonna be related, and TDK done that. If you want to talk about Tudor, you want to talk about Heinz Carver, they all did that. You take different stuff, put it together, follow the traits, and then you make your own type of dogs. And a lot of the TDK dogs, they have all that stuff you mentioned in there, but the dogs resemble each other. Most of them look the same. Mm-hmm. You see the heavy Tobe and Rose influence. I forgot to mention that when we were talking about him last week. And the Black Widow stuff, you have the Stompanato and Diamond and Arts Missy stuff,
Exactly.
and if you go back far enough, you're going to see is English and Irish dogs bred together, or you're going to see Tudor Colby, or you're going to see those same crosses. Lightner and all that. But that's generally what people do is you're trying to make the type of dogs you want. You're trying to produce certain traits, and at some point you got to breed them together to make that family, and they will resemble each other, you know, regardless of what their background way in the past is.
Yes, sir. Salute to Pistol Pete. Appreciate the support, family. Thank you very much. Big Dose 51 Trey. What it do, man? Salute to you in the super chat. He says, does any of the dog men remember my uncle Go-Go from Cincinnati? He was involved with the taking of Art, the art dog. It had heavy art in his yard. Snitching, Big Dose, snitching on your uncle, bro. Snitching on your uncle.
Yeah, Uncle DIBO and what art dog?
Yeah, Ram. What you know about it, Ram? You ever heard of Big Dose uncle?
Nuh-uh. No, I ain't even hip, you know, especially if he had the art stuff. I'm pretty sure he wasn't advertising it, you know. So I ain't even hip, bro. But again, I don't know everybody, you know. I ain't no friendly motherfucker to be getting to all, you know people like that. Ain't nothing against him, but you know, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, okay. Anybody on the panel familiar with Go-Go? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Big Dose. No, you just put your uncle up on cases for no reason,
bro. Yeah.
I know the turtle buster dog. Oh, go ahead, Fubo.
I was just gonna say, as far as art, there's so many different stories. You would have to be close, and maybe he was, you know, his uncle or whatever. You'd have to be close or been there or whatever to know what really happened to him. There's a bunch of different things. Who had him? Who did it? Where he ended up with? I heard at some point he was in Arizona. I don't believe it.
Yeah, at one point he was supposed to be in Dallas.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, it just they're old stories. They don't matter now. But I ain't never heard of him or you know, no disrespect to you or your uncle, but you know, I wouldn't have said that.
I refuse to. No, I'm pleading the fifth if I know him or not. You know.
Right, no affiliation.
Yeah. If you did know him, you don't know him no more.
Yeah. Big Dose, that's my guy. He cool. I don't know why you said that though, man. He been telling that story.
He said his uncle dead now, so he can't be brought up on charges.
Yeah.
Damn. And he went a little bit further too.
He doing like Keefe D did his nephew.
Oh yeah, he the one who killed Tupac.
Hey, salute to Pistol Pete back in that super chat. Much love and much appreciation, family. He says, what type of bulldog do you prefer, all around or straightforward? I'll let you take that one, Brother Bakri.
Always all around. I mean, I really don't like no straightforward dog. I mean, even if in order for it to be a straightforward dog, he has to go against a dumb dog. And so if he's going against a smart dog with just an average mouth, and if he don't get a killing hold off the beginning, then his ass can be in trouble. So no, I like a dog that's completely well-rounded. I don't even go out with a dog that's one like just straightforward, but no breaks and don't have nothing else to do. No, I don't even use it.
Yes, sir. Brother Eli, your take?
I agree with Barkley. I cannot stand. I couldn't stand a dog that was like that. You know, that's not something that I even bred for. When I bred dog, I bred for dogs that were smart, fast, deliberate. You know, I speed and you know, good smarts. I'll take you a long way. You ain't even got to have all the bang for your buck that everybody else talk about and conjure up. If you can be fast and you can be smart and stay out of the way, and you can be game, you can drown a shark. You know, if you can drown a shark, and especially if you got good conditioning and you can be strong and control with it. I love animals that are deliberate and that are poised. It's traits to me that matter way more than than some of the stuff that people conjure up when they tell stories. You know, I done heard many a times of some of these great stories, and then you look at the great story, and then you start to dissect it, and it's like it don't sound the same. It's just it. Wait a minute, that was conjured up. You talking about this dog was blowing hot in 20 minutes? Oh, he was blowing hot in 20 minutes, and he was straightforward, and he was all out. But now he has a legendary following because of the names that bred him and who promoted him. You know, that's the type of things that it make for good stories. But me, I love a dog that's smart. I love a dog with good speed and ability. You know, that's poised and in control. Like Brother Bakri said, I think we kind of like about the same things when we're
Right.
talking dogs. Stay in control, stay poised, have good
Yep.
speed. You
Yep.
know, and be deliberate.
Yep.
That shit right there is something that people be deliberate. Don't be frantic. Don't be panicking all over the place. Be deliberate. When you go, people that hog hunt and everything, when you go in the woods and stuff, the best catch dogs in the woods are dogs that can get on a hog ear and dance and wear them down, and then you can slide in there with a knife and you can stick them. You know, or
Yep.
you know, you can grab them back legs because they don't go on down and dance with them the whole time. You know, so yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Welcome down, Ram. Big stepping. Your take.
Shit, I gotta agree with the brothers, man. All around dog is the best. The one time I came out with a straightforward dog, got his fucking shit peeled back. You know, he's just one gear, one dimensional. So that taught me a lot in that loss. You gotta fucking have all the tools in the bag. You can't just have a killing bite and the best fucking brisket hold ever, because a motherfucker will peel you out of that shit and ride your muzzle. You still chasing that motherfucking brisket hold. I'm talking about the deal with us going into Yontas with Red Jack, that shit did not work out for us. But, that was a good lesson learned because we was able to, start breeding him to, real smart, talented, fast bitches, and able to clean up that little fucking one gear he had, man. But gotta be fucking, like Eli said, poised. You gotta be smart, and if you fast, you just as deadly as a hard biting motherfucker, you know. Cause you biting him too, even though you ain't biting him as hard, that shit still hurt. He gonna slow down, especially if you smart enough to stay out his way and implement your fucking game. So yeah, all around is your best bet.
Hey, I want to add one thing to it because I see him already going in the chat. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that if you know what you're doing with that and you got what you got in your line and they get the job done. It is what it is. We talking about preferences here, and most consistently, that's what I've seen in the past. Get ahead and get it done versus other. One of my favorite breeders, or one of the what I like the most is the Duhan Boomerang dogs, and that's how he loved them. You know, when they tell a story and everything, that's what he loved. Straight ahead, serious. And if they wasn't that, it was like they wasn't really representing his family. You know, so it is what it is, man. Don't y'all get too carried away. Shit, it's all right to have one that's straightforward. If they get the job done and they got that work rate and they can keep the pressure on and until they get to where they need to be. It is what it is.
If I can, then just to add on to that, so that a person don't won't make don't. When I say straightforward, most of the time I'm talking about crash dummies. Okay, now I'm not talking about a dog that's because when you say straightforward, that means they don't have no breaks and no. A lot of times you're not well rounded. You're not going to be what they going to want to hit the chest, stifle, stomach, wherever it is they trying to get to, throat, and then they just pushing for it the whole time. And then if another dog, wanted to jump on a muzzle or something like that, they would just let it get taken off because they just straight fucking forward. They won't play the bottom jaw, they won't play the muzzle, they wouldn't play nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
so that to me is straightforward. I'm not talking about a dog that coming in there pressuring to get to the stifle, guts, or chest, armpit, or whatever. And then if they in the armpit and they see that you keep trying to fuck their head, that they will actually go on your muzzle, break that shit up, or go in your mouth, try to take teeth out or go to your bottom jaw, take your tools away, then go back there. That's what we call a well-rounded dog. That is not a straightforward. Straightforward, I look at as a crash dummy. He does not have any defensive mechanisms. I'm talking about just going in there, driving the whole time. If the dog want to ride his head for 2 hours and pull that bitch off, he will just let you. He won't switch up for shit. That's what I'm talking about by straightforward.
And that's what I mean
Well-rounded.
about Red Jack. He was just like you just said. He just want one thing, and he let Young just peel his whole shit back just to try to get that one hold again, you know? So I feel exactly what you said. Straight crash dummy, OG.
That's the only thing I'm saying. But when I see some wrote that you have straightforward as well-rounded, no. That dog that's pressuring your dog, that's able to hit other things when another one jumps on his head or attempts to
Yeah.
jump on it, and able to get him off and then switch it around and go to his head and make him come out his style then so he can go back to his killing holes. That is a well-rounded dog. That is not a straightforward dog. Okay.
Yeah, you just basically are like a dog, a dog that like lacks creativity and getting to his spots.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, Mr. Garcia.
Hey, schoolboy. Oh, I was gonna ask schoolboy. Hey,
Yeah.
would you compare that schoolboy to like the Benny Bob and Tombstone type deal? Was the
Oh,
Benny
you
Bob
mean
and Tombstone Benny Bob and Bullison Jr.?
yeah, I would going by the reports and what I know of the uh you know, Eli dogs. Yeah, pretty much like that. You know, for me, I'm like Bach. I like a well-rounded dog, but this comparison oftentimes is made when you think of a well-rounded dog. You're thinking more in their mind. They're thinking it's a smart dog, don't have a lot of mouth, this and that, fancy and all that. Straightforward is rough and killer type. That if you take talking about like Bolio dogs, they're smart, well balanced, got good air, finish. You know, a well-rounded dog has finish too, and their intelligence allows them to deal with whatever situation comes up. And that don't mean that Bolio dogs ain't rough. Some of them are, but they're smart. And what Bach was alluding to was, you know, just a stupid dog. You ain't going to have a lot of success with that, you know.
Right.
And even killer dogs in the past, like Art, he wasn't stupid. He'll fight the muzzle. He'll go to the stifle. He eat your chest. He kill you, you know. Or like I mentioned, a lot of the Bolio dogs, they wrestle real good, and they'll fuck you up too, and they'll finish you too. So the comparison is not just, you know, like a hard puncher against a fancy boxer. There's a lot of rough, strong, fast, tough dogs that are smart too. You know, for instance, what they would do if something got on their head or their ears or something like that, they'd turn their head and they'd shoot in for the throat. That negates all that smart head dog fighting shit because the dog can't breathe. And I tried to keep that in my blood. Yeah, they were rough, but they weren't stupid. And that's what, you know, a straightforward dog is pretty much like Bach said, they're dumb. There's a lot of rough dogs like ZEBO and Chinaman, you know. Maybe you could call them straightforward, but they weren't stupid dogs. You know, they weren't that way. You know, I saw Chinaman roll, and he was just, you know, like Zach said, you know, Eli said, you know, he was intelligent about how he got to his spots. He wouldn't just let a dog sit there and chew on him. A lot of them, you know, they'll have their hole and they just keep pushing. They don't change up. They don't have a counter for that move. So it's right. You just waiting. You know, come on, dummy, do something. You know, they have to have some amount of intelligence to deal with whatever situation comes up. And you'll always have better success in my opinion, with a well-rounded dog than you will something that's just goes in there like Bach said, a crash dummy. You know, if you think boxing, you know, you're talking like Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard or something like that. You know, most people think Ali was a light puncher. Well, maybe he wasn't the hardest puncher, but most of his fights are by KO or TKO. Same thing with Leonard. So I prefer that type to the straightforward type in that respect.
Yes, sir. Shazam 98 in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation, family. Official Game Bread Monk in the super chat. Salute to you. He says, I don't have papers on my Jip, but I thoroughly trust the guys I got them from, but I want to get papers on her. She's 1/4 Chinaman, 1/4 Eli in Bolio. What does he have to do? That the breedings and stuff have to be verified, Mr. Garcia?
Yeah, if you can verify the breedings, and you know, a lot of dogs don't have papers, and that means that they haven't been registered, but they have a pedigree. If you have a pedigree that you can verify, I can register the dog for you. I get that all the time, mostly from people I know. If I don't know you, then I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna talk to the breeder, or I'm gonna get the information from you or something. It helps if they're your dogs and you bred them. But if you didn't, I'm gonna need verification from the people who did. But yeah, it can be done. Papers and pedigree, they're not two different things, but every dog, if you know how it's bred, it's got a pedigree. But not every dog has papers because they haven't been registered. Some haven't been registered for years and years. But you keep your own records, or somebody, whoever you got them from, they kept their own records. They know how they're bred. But yeah, we can do something. Hit me up on Messenger.
Yes, indeed. Then we got Official Game Bread Monk back in that super chat. Appreciate the love, man. Salute to you. And we have Big Dose 51 Trade back in there. He says he dead now, 78. Oh yeah, I feel you, bro. I'm just saying. Some stuff you gotta let let it rock out, bro. I mean, it's all good. Let me see. Real Game, salute to you in the super chat. He says, best finishers you've ever had. Now, y'all asking some good questions, man. We gotta get to the questions on the list.
No, I like theirs better than the list. Keep with them.
Yeah. All right, Brother Bach, take that one. Best finisher you've ever had.
Best finisher that I've ever had. I would have to say Champion Lexus Coupe over his dad Tyrone, even though Tyrone killed everything that would stay there long enough. His son actually would eat you in a box, so can't finish no better than that. Tyrone would, of course, be one of them. Grand Champion Flop would be another one. Well, every dog I took out was finishers, so I could be naming all of them, but I'll just stay with those three. Okay.
Yes, sir. Ram, let's go to you.
Shit, that had to be my Champion Buckshot dog. His brother Champion Old Dog. Both of them could put you away, finish you in the throat and the stifle, like real finish. Soon as your ass slow down a little bit, they throat checking you. My dog Bud, 2-time winner. He was a fucking cannibal. He'd put you down and start eating on you. And then I say my dog Jedi. He was a 1-time winner. He was a bad motherfucker with a ton of finish, man. Just off the top of the head, like them dogs would really finish your ass. No playing around, real intense, real fucking heavy on the mouth, just all around bulldogs, man. Get in there and fuck your shit up.
Right. Mr. Garcia, your take?
Yeah, Big Red, his son Champion Bill, Mr. Rowdy, Alex, and Bo. They were cannibals. Those are the off the top of my head, but what I consider a finisher, and probably Doc will agree with me, is for me it don't matter if the opponent's moving, standing up, laid out, gone, whatever. They're gonna hit it. They're gonna stay on it. And some of them, like they said, they'll eat the dog. So for me, that's what finishing means. And I did that with several of them just to check them, see if they would do it. It was one of, again, talking about the past, I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything. But the good ones, they don't care if you lay it out, man. They're going to go hit you. And some of them will eat you. Don't matter.
Yes, sir. Brother Eli.
For me, that would have been 3 would have been Flojo, her daughter Mocha, and Buddy. Flojo was just deliberate. That's like the best trait that she had and the best trait that she produced, and she was deliberate with finish. It three holes, and she was where she needed to be. And it didn't matter if them 3 holes took her 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then another 20. She wasn't coming out of those 3 holes, and she was slipping to where she needed to be and where she wanted to be to get it done. You know, Mocha, she'll sidestep you to get where, like Brother Bakari was saying, she'll sidestep you to get to where she wanted to be. And Buddy, he was just pressure, just like relentless. So yeah, that's my 3.
Yes, sir. Let me see here. Salute to Pistol Pete back in that super chat. Much love, much appreciation, man. Says respect the OGs. Florida love the knowledge. Salute to your family.
Salute to him.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
Thank you for joining us. What's up, Brown Sugar? Tay Brown in the building. How you doing, sister? Let me see here. Make sure I got everybody. We got officially Game Bread Monk back in that building. Salute. Says I'm trying to find you, Mr. Schoolboy on Messenger. Click the link in the chat. In the description box underneath the video, and then it's in the description box. You'll see a link to Schoolboy's Facebook.
It's a common name. It's under Richard Garcia, and it's a picture of me and my wife sitting down. I have glasses on. But yeah, the thanks for doing that, 78. Click the description; it'll take you right to it.
Yes, sir. All love, all love. Question we got here is: can the panel share a story? The 2 hardest biting dogs you ever owned. Okay, let's start with you, Brother Bach.
Well, that would be Champion Tyrone and Champion Flop Flop, I would have to say. Even though my 4-time winning champion Punchinella was a little I'll just say those 2 because I'll be mentioning a lot of them. But I'll just say Tyrone and Flop Flop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what would you say, Mr. Garcia?
That dog I mentioned, Alex, that was like at the tail end of what I was doing. I had to, when I got rid of my dogs, I sold them to PVK, and they beat Cottingham's with him. But he was a cannibal, and he didn't really turn on till he was 3 years old. He was my dad's dog. He was house trained and obedience trained and like that. He could ride in the back of a pickup loose. He wouldn't really get aggressive until you face him up. He was just real intelligent, but he ended up being that type. He didn't care if he was laid out, man. You could scratch him to anything, he'd go, as long as he was in that atmosphere. Collar would be another one. He was a finisher too. He finished his first opponent in 47 minutes. He get in that throat. That's where I like him to go. And they do finish, in that throat, because it cuts off their air. They don't take them long, makes a dog panic, or they just fall out. So those are 2 hard biting, finishing type dogs that I have.
Yes, sir. Brother Eli, what's your take? You there, Brother Eli? You're on mute. There you
go. My bad. Look, I'm putting these dog food together and shit, man. Probably the same ones I mentioned earlier, more so, Buddy. He just, like I say, relentless and a whole lot of pressure, man. Just a good fucking animal, hard working, and just a lot of drive, and that pressure would build up on you fast. It didn't take long, so fast to the point where I got ahead of myself. I got ahead of myself and just outdid myself, But yeah, he was the real deal.
Brother Ram,
Yes, sir.
two hardest biting dogs you've owned.
Shit, man, that's fucking. It had to be Red Jack #1. He could kill you with one bite, but he was just dumb as a box of fucking open condoms. And it's a toss up between Bud and fucking Old Dog. Old Dog bit a fucking golf size or a fucking goddamn grapefruit size hole in the motherfucker chest. And what Bud, cause he broke everything you put his mouth on, man. Like from your paw to your shoulder blade, wherever he hit you at, like stifles, whatever, he was taking it apart. So it was kind of hard between the two, but Old or Red Jack #1 for sure. That was one of the hardest biting motherfuckers I ever seen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we got Smooth Monty came through heavy in the super chat. Much love and much appreciation, man.
Salute to the bro.
Respect. Salute.
He says, I'm sure this has been asked, but do we have any dates for the ICDR confirmation shows this year here in the U.S.? And if any of the panel planning on attending any confirmation shows this year? Well, Mr. Garcia, are there any plans to do something this year?
We have tentative plans. Nothing set yet. I'll post them when it happens. With all this shit happening in some areas, it's hard to get permission to have a number of people. But
Right.
hopefully we will. I'll post it all over if we do. Maybe Florida, maybe California. I'm going to do a show that's partially by ICDR in Mexico in April, in Toluca. But as far as the U.S., just tentative stuff, nothing set in stone yet.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, and we'll definitely keep y'all updated on the show if any other dates or any shows get done. Because anything after June, I'll be done paying these people their taxes and I can afford to go. Let's see here. Mr. Anderson in the super chat, much love and much appreciation, says, historically speaking, how would the panel handle a yard accident if both dogs are off the chain? Yeah, see, that's one of the questions too. Let's start with you, Ram. How would you handle that?
See, I would just, for no cap, I'll let it go so I can see who's winning, see where they at, see if anybody want to quit, all of that. Just perfect time to fucking check right then and there. But, whoever losing, you want to get the winner up off him the best you can. And I don't know, I'm strong as a bitch, so I could fucking get one off and pull them apart and just hold them, separate from each other. Walk them back to the house, throw one in the cage, and take the other one to the bathroom, clean them off. So, how I handle shit would be a little different. I would let that shit roll for a minute just so I can see, and then it's not that hard for me to break them up just because I'm fucking dumbass strong around here like Bam Bam. So when I break them up, I just, here, get your ass in this kennel in here, you get your ass in the bathroom. You feel me? We gonna fix that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Brother Eli?
I had that happen to me. I was getting ready to go out of town, and I had two puppies that decided they was done being puppies, and and they went for broke. And I had to do what Ram said. I had to back up to the kennel, and shit, just kind of wait them out, and let them tire out. And as soon as they tired out a little bit, when they went to regrip, I had to grab one and sling them in the kennel and hurry up and grab the door and close the door shut. So that's the best thing that I had going for me at that point. But yeah, I had to let them kind of tire out a little bit.
Yeah. See, I got my dogs in kennels, but strategically around my yard, I got like I was telling Ram this. I got these cable runs, you know what I mean, and around my yard. So when I'm cleaning out the kennels and stuff like that, I take them out there and we'll tie them up while I'm cleaning them out. But if when yard accidents happen, I just all my dogs got collars, so I just pull. I grab both of them and pull them over, and I hook one of them up to one of the cables and take the breaking stick, get them up off of them, and pick the other one up, take them in the kennel. I do it that way. I mean, that's the simplest way for me to do it, man. Mr. Garcia, what about you?
Yeah, that's a good point you made, 7-8. If it's a yard accident, they got collars on. You can do that. If you have help, that help. One grab one the other. But I would advise people, don't get excited, don't be in a rush, don't get all crazy. I've seen experienced guys, even at dog shows and stuff, confirmation shows, they get all wound up, man. What are you running over there for? Walk over there, be quiet. Especially if you're in town, you make a lot of noise, it might draw some attention. That happened with me and my son one time. We didn't even have the light on in the back. It was dark already, and we just, I just told my son, just calm down. We watched them for a little bit. I didn't have any breaking sticks at the time because I was just taking care of these two dogs for a buddy of mine. And one was loose in the yard, and the other, my grandson opened the door and let the other one out, and they got into it. We just walked over and let them go a little bit. I told my son, go inside and grab a hammer handle. I didn't have no breaking sticks. I just use a hammer handle to break them off. I can use just about anything: screwdriver, stick, butter knife, like that. But I used to roll my dogs by myself sometime, and there's a process. I won't get into it, but it can be done, But I think, like you mentioned, 7-8, if they have collars on, you can use that. You take them to pick them both up and tie one up and then break them off. Or if you're big and strong, massive, like Ram, you can grab them, separate them, hold one up, and hold both of them, one in each arm, and then throw one in a bathroom or something, lock the door, whatever you got to do. I seen a ref do that one time. The guys weren't handling their dogs, and the ref handled both dogs, and he handed one dog to one guy and one dog to the other hand.
I've done that several times.
Yeah, that's in Mexico. It's like, well, shit, the ref better handler than both you guys put together, But,
hell yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. That was Dr. Don Morlock. He did that. That was years ago, man. He just snatched them both up. He's like, you guys ain't handling your fucking dog, Just did it that way. But, whatever you can do. My thing is, don't panic. Don't get in a rush. Don't, dogs are pretty tough, They can take a little shit, It's not no need to get out of hand,
Yeah, I ain't saying, leave them down there like you looking at them, but shit, if they going, you got to see who's who. Might as well you take the opportunity and see, because there was probably two you would have never put together in the first place. So
yeah, sometimes you take advantage of the situation, a little bit. That's kind of what we did, and when I was taking care of those two dogs, my buddy said, "Hey, look at them if you want." I said, "Nah, I don't need to do that. I'll just hold them here for a little bit." But they ended up doing it themselves anyways. And he took them. I took the dogs to them. They both ended up winning. I like the one of them I liked better than the other one. They were like half brothers, and they were good dogs.
Yes, sir. Brother Bach, what's your take on it? How did you deal with yard accidents? If both dogs were off the chain.
You said if both what?
If both dogs were off the chain.
I can't ever recall two dogs off the chain, so let's start there. Normally, if a kennel accident happened, one dog got out and they fight the other one on the chain. So it's kind of what's heard. If it wasn't one older dog on a puppy where I'm trying to get them off the pup pretty quick, if it was two grown ones and one got off, and I'm like, well, shit, that's what he went over there for. So If I catch them, you know, I might like Brother Rand said, I might sit there for a minute and be like, I'm gonna wear them all the way out. So by the time I do go ahead and pull the one that's all the way to the end of the chain, one of them is breathing heavy. I can just, if I don't have no breaking stick in hand or something, then I'll just be able to pull them just there to, you know, to one try to get a hold, and the other one's out and pull it apart. Pretty much like that there. But I mean, that's pretty much, you know, that's how I deal with that. Now if I came in the yard, for instance, and they might have been fighting for 2 hours, I don't know, and they're like near each other and whole, but one ain't dead or both not dead, I will go try to get both of them, you know, to healthy enough. Not so much just to check and see if they pretty good. Where if after a few, like an hour or so, if they able to stand or whatever, and if I wasn't sure what the deal is, then I will walk the same one back over to the other one to see who acting like what, so I know if one of these, you know, one of them I'm about to give to a rescue committee, or the other one can stay. You understand? So I would do that as well if I didn't know if they both out of hold and near the same area, not one that went all the way to his doghouse, which will let me know he already curved out. But so it just depends on what I see when I get there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I would. When I said I do it by myself, you got to let them go some time.
Right.
Get a little bit of tire, you snatch one up.
Right.
Like that, you know.
Yeah, the only time two dogs usually get off the chain, two of them, is when, you know, you doing some dumb shit like I be doing, like letting, you know, you think, oh, they like each other, they friends. Dumb shit like that, you know. That's the only time two of them get off. You know, usually one will get loose, but, you know. Officially, Game Bread Monk in the super chat. Much love, much appreciation, family. He says, I sent that info OG schoolboy along with a couple of pictures. You guys just don't know how much I appreciate this. Hey, man, it's all love, family. Salute to you. Thank you for being here every week. Thank you to everybody that come here.
I'll take a look at it late tonight or tomorrow. I appreciate it. I'll contact you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What up, Cam, man? I see you. Salute, bro.
Salute,
yeah, that's he had them Beetlejuice dogs back in the day. Some good old Red Boy stuff.
That's what's up. All right. Can the panel explain the aftercare supplies needed for a yard accident and how to prevent them? See, that flowed just beautifully right into each other. Transition, beautiful. So can the panel explain aftercare supplies needed for yard accidents and how to prevent them? Let's start with you, Brother Bakri.
Well, I mean, well, some people use some of the juice for during a hunt. It's also good if you didn't use it for something, then you use that just like they do if you go in a hospital or something for car crashes, anything, or even bad burns, to be able to use some of the juices to revitalize you pretty much faster that way. So I'll use some of that. I forget the name of what's the name of the little hourglass thing? I always forget the name of that.
Solu Delta Cortef.
Yes, I always had that on hand.
You can use that. They used to use Cortisate 20,
right?
And then of course Dex or Azium.
Correct. Yes. So I mean, and all what he said, like I said, the Dex, the Soya Delt, I keep that on hand. Which the Soya Delt's a little bit stronger than the Dex. So, depending how bad it is and the swelling, or you need to have your staples. You need to have some Soya Delt, some Dex, your regular. What we used to have, Combiotics, was used to be the best before they got rid of it and gave us just regular penicillin, amoxicillin. You remember the Combiotics?
Yeah.
Man, that was the my God.
I was gonna say that's you could buy that over the counter.
Right.
You know, and you could just go get it, Combiotic, and then like you said, they stopped it and they just had the penicillin.
It was so good just like they got rid of the Tillman wormer because it was too good. So they got rid of Tillman's and gave us Safeguard and Panacure, where we had the Tillman's that you could do a whole 50 to 100 dogs with a few of them, and you was you know, you was good. So, but anyway, the Combiotics. So since they don't have that any longer, that's what I was using. It was really, really good. I mean, woo. So, but yeah, just your regular penicillins and Baytrils and things of that nature, and your regular things you would have in any first aid. Depending, like I said, if you got to bandage them up, or I mean, I immediately wash mine up and put mine up in off the ground kennels, or put them in the inside kennel inside a either warm barn or the house somewhere to you know, to get them back right. I don't normally leave them in no chain spots where the chains can irritate any wounds or anything. I don't want anything irritated. I want them to be fully healed all the way back externally, and then I'll do all the things like I said with the different antibiotics, some juice if need be, depending on how bad they are, to bring them back internally. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Mr. Garcia?
Yeah, all what Bach said. Back in the day, they didn't have staple guns. So you use the cat gut and the suture. Or I just use a needle and thread, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, a couple other things, maybe betadine or some. They had this spray for horses that healed up wounds, you know. Just pretty much mirror.
The blue lotion.
Yeah. There you go.
Blue lotion. Yeah.
Blue lotion.
Yeah. You know, in when you have dogs in shock, you know, two things, and you'll notice this, you know, like people getting wrecks, they go to hospitals, you know, they give them certain drugs and stuff, but it's important to keep them stable. Don't move them around, bring them inside, like Bach said. And, you know, if it's cold, you got to keep their temperature up. If they're overheated, you got to cool them down, and it don't mean giving them water.
Right.
You know, give them something to drink. That don't cool them down. You have to cool their body temperature down. But those are the two things that are very important, is to keep them stable and keep their temperature proper. But all what Bach said, that's pretty standard. The Combiotic, going to what you know, Eli was saying earlier, a tip would be, you know, with ear infections, I would just take the Combiotic and put 2 or 3 drops in their ear, just like that, plain like that, and it does wonders. It'll get rid of just about any ear infection they got, you know, because they'll get cuts inside their ear sometime, and you know, sometimes if you use like what's that stuff called? Not alcohol, but
peroxide.
Peroxide. Yeah, sometimes that can do more harm than good, you know.
You know what? I'm sorry, and I meant to say while you're on that, I'm sorry. What I wash with is Listerine. I put Listerine in my water as an antiseptic, and I wash them. And depending what it is, I might even put a little bleach in the water as well.
The original flavor Listerine, right?
It doesn't matter what mouthwash it is; they all antiseptic, right? And then also, when you got mouth work, I do use a lot of the mouthwash with the water and stuff inside the mouth as well. You know, if they got teeth. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I meant to say that's definitely how I wash them, with that in the water.
That's a good tip, because that what was that stuff we just said? See how my brain is?
The peroxide.
Yeah, the hydrogen peroxide, it has a tendency to open the wounds up,
correct,
clean them, and it'll actually make them leak more and bleed more. So that's a good tip. If I had dogs, I'd be doing it now.
and one other thing, depending how bad the cuts is, you know, sometimes it was good to use the golden seal, because it'll seal it up on its own. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a whole, but I can go on.
All kinds of stuff.
I'm trying to take the whole show up to say what I
Hey, keep dropping them, Drew. Keep dropping that now.
Yeah. Ram put a post in my group. You know, anybody who's in it, go check what's in his medicine cabinet. You know, that was a good post.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Brother Eli, what's your take on that?
I mean, some of the things that I didn't even told brothers in the past. Walgreens, they have septic pencils. Those little septic pencils, they work. They work great. For like those little bit of wounds and stuff like that. Iodine and Dawn soap help do wonders. Iodine, septic pencil, Dawn soap, and then of course with all the things the brother said, and Furazone. Furazone, that shit like is like new stock, but it's in the grease. It's not the sulfury, real pasty type deal. It's like a grease, like Corona grease used to be, and it keeps it moisturized and draws it back together real good, and you don't see nothing.
One thing, why
a nice cleanup.
if I could interrupt you, please make sure you
Go
tell
ahead,
them
go
to
ahead.
use gloves because it's a carcinogenic. Okay.
Yes.
So when you use
yes.
that, use gloves on that particular infant, what he just mentioned, because that's why the new stock is better to me. But yeah, but that is good back when they was doing that years ago. But yeah, you must use so you don't get no cancer type hookup from using it. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm just wanted to say that.
No, you good. I mean, those are my things, and like I say, I always listen to y'all, man. When y'all talking, bro, a lot of the stuff that old timers use, it works better than all the stuff that everybody else trying to reinvent the wheel with, and a lot of times it's more cost effective because that was the whole purpose of it. So I mean, I honestly, hey, I listen to y'all, but yeah, those septic pencils, man, they cheap having those, regular iodine, Dawn soap, repeat, wash, repeat, care for, and go over it. Don't sit up there and do it one time and then walk away, and then they wallow around in the dirt and the mud and every day or whatever, or you ain't got them put up and they busting the stuff open and you ain't rewashing and doing what you have to. You have to stay on top of it. You have to care for it. You don't just do it one time and then walk away. Antibiotics, stuff that you can't get, like they were saying, stuff was over the counter and stuff like that. Well, that's still stuff like Birdbiotic, that's doxycycline, fish mox, there's moxicillin. There's still stuff like that you can order and still use. So
Yeah.
it's still stuff that's handily that you can get can get to. I'm trying to think of the other antibiotics, but there's antibiotics that are for other animals and that are for other purposes that do come over the counter that you can.
Amoxicillin. Some people use the ones for the fish.
Fish mox, Birdbiotic.
Yeah. You can, if anybody care to, it's real technical, and sometimes it's hard to understand. But if you can pick up a Merck medical manual, for
I keep one by the bedside.
yeah. It's real involved. I don't understand a lot of the
terminology.
the terminology. No, I'm good. But if you do some research, figure out what they're talking about, and it has a lot of good information there. It's actually for people that are going to become doctors. They're in college and or vets or whatever. But I always advise people to pick one up if they can. It's some knowledge.
Brother Ram, what's your take, man? Well, before I go to Ram, Schoolboy, what would you recommend the milligrams on the amoxicillin if you got 250 and 500 milligram tabs?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I give this advice. You always go by the weight of the individual.
Yep.
If you're using human grade, you just knock it down to the size of your dog. Yep. If it's for cattle, horses, goats, or if it's for canine, if it's for canine, you just follow the directions for the weight of the dog canine. But you always just go by the weight or the size of the dog. And same thing with supplements or anything like that. If you use human grade supplements, and let's say it says, give for a 200-pound human, it says give a quarter a cup, right? Well, for a 50-pound dog, it would be a quarter cup, like that. So with the milligrams, with the medicine or whatever it is you're using, it might be a quarter of a pill, or it might be, if it's powder, whatever you're using, you know, if it's 250 milligrams for a 150-pound human, you might be given a dog 25 or 50 milligrams or something like that.
Right.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Walking down ramp.
You have to, one more thing, you have to be careful, like with the decks, you know, and a lot of other stuff. You know, you can ask somebody and they say, well, I give them 2 cc's, or I give them 5 cc or 3, or whatever it is. It depends on what the value is of the decks. If it's 3%, it's going to be different than if it's 5%.
Right.
So that you got to take into account. But you know, they put directions on the label. Follow them and just adjust to the dog. You know.
Yes, sir.
Before you go,
Hey,
what one person said in there, hold up, brother 78, which is true. I just want everybody to know it. What the brother said is true. If in doubt and your dog is hurt and you don't really have the knowledge or a good vet tech, don't be, shy to make sure you got a cool vet and take some damn dog to the vet so you don't lose a dog. A lot of people lost dogs based on them not really having the knowledge of really taking care of something, and lost a good one that they could have saved had they just went to the vet. So in doubt, like some of the people had said on the chat, I 100% agree. Take them to the damn vet, but a vet that's, that knows you wild boar hunt with them. You can't just go take them to any vet.
Yeah, don't be scared, and don't lose a good dog. Don't be cheap either. It's going to cost some money. If you care about the dog, spend the money.
Right.
It's put a lot of time and effort into them. It's like getting a $3 hookup on a $5,000 dog. Don't make no sense. Get good equipment.
Yeah. Would you trust somebody, replacing your engine? You know what I'm saying, for $20? I'll hook it up for you. Fuck all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I said the exact thing. I said this exact thing in the video that I just dropped a few hours ago. The number one thing I said was have a vet, because that's most times people don't have a vet, and then I topped it off with have a vet that you trust, because you go to a vet and a lot of times the first thing that they gonna do is, they look at the symptoms, they listen to you, and they can't tell. They're not doing blood work and none of that to actually see what's actually going on with your dog possibly. Or they not actually doing a full checkup to actually look at your dog. They just listen to you and say, oh, sounds like I need to run an IV. Sounds like he just needs to be wormed. Or whatever, if it's not something significant. If you just saying, hey, my dog been a little off, and they go in, and then the next few days your dog die and you don't get nothing from it. Your dog has something seriously going on. So go to a vet that you trust, that you have built up a rapport with, and don't wait till your dog is just this old to go, or don't wait till you got a problem and got an issue. Take your puppies in there. My wife, she has pet insurance. She has pet insurance through her job. They pay for it. It's only $7. It's like, okay, we'll take it. When we need it, right now I'm working on finding me a good vet. I only have one dog. I hear a house dog. Shit, it is what it is. But I'm still gonna take those precautions to be able to be prepared if something goes on. Hell, just not too long ago, my next door neighbor, he's actually a fucking police, and his dog nipped my dog through the fence. I told him, hey, it's no big thing, man. It's no big thing, but hey, I need to go take him to a vet. I have one on hand, because things happen regardless of if you're in the world of fighting, or if you just have a pet like we do these days. We don't have, yards like we used to. But if you just have a pet, things still happen, So
and it don't even have to do with a yard accident or a hog hunt. Just when your dog gets sick, or something ain't right, or their stool is whatever, or still a lot of dogs are lost from parvo or coronavirus and stuff like that. And people, they message me all the time, my dog's acting this way, what are the symptoms, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Inevitably, I'm going to tell them, take them to the vet. Because unless you know what you're doing and you have the stuff to deal with it, go to the vet, whether it's a puppy, grown dog, whatever. It ain't always because of some yard accident. People are scared to take them to the vet because they're all cut up. it is generally the dog gets sick from some ailment, some malady, you know, and they just they either don't want to spend the money or they're afraid the vet's not gonna say nothing if your dog's just sick.
Right.
You know, they just you know, don't lose a good dog because you know, you're gonna try and home remedy them and you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then you're good.
Yeah.
But you know,
Right.
a lot of people don't.
Schoolboy.
Yeah.
Schoolboy. Look. This is that book that Schoolboy was talking about for everybody.
Yep. That's it.
This
That's it.
this is the book.
Yeah.
This is the book that y'all need to get. You know, some of it is a lot more technical than what most of our minds are going to be thinking. But some of it, if you troubleshoot it, it'll lead you right to the point. And we got Google nowadays and stuff, and it'll lead you to the point of knowing whether you need to take your dog to the vet or not.
Yep. Yep. It's good to have that because it's even going on Google, that book is more detailed and it's hands-on and you can refer to it. And a lot of times when I want to find information about stuff to do with dogs, I'll go to the Merck site, and it has, I mean, you just punch in, you know, Merck, whatever, you know, dog stool bad or green or whatever, or you know, eyes are listless or whatever, you know, and there's tons and tons of information that they've done through research, even medicines for dogs and vitamins, wormers, all kinds of stuff. Merck has they've been around for years and years, and that's like the #1 when it has pertaining to dogs themselves, even breeding, even all kinds of stuff. So it's good. That site, I use it a lot just to, if somebody asks me a question or if I want to know something pops up, you know, I just go there. They got all kinds of stats, all kinds of over years and years of research.
Yes, sir. My brother, walking down Ram, big stepping, man. What's your take on that?
This is my take on that.
There you go. Let me let me highlight it. There we go. Ram got the whole damn office.
Ram got everything.
that whole Delta. That's what
that soya. There you go.
Yeah, bring them back to life.
I need some of that, Ram. I need some of that.
Hit me up. Yeah, we'll talk about it behind the scenes. But
yeah, I'm just saying I got some goddamn wild boar hunters out here where I'm at.
And all that shit in the box, man. You know, need all of that shit.
I need the whole box, Ram.
Ringers, all of that. You feel me? The fish, you know, all of that shit. I use this a lot, though. The blood stop. That's what I used to use a lot. That shit'll fucking stop them from bleeding to death real fast.
Yeah. You know, back in the day, a lot of the guys that lived along the border, or even some that didn't, you know, they would go to Mexico and get everything, because you can get just about anything in Mexico. You know, you don't need a prescription, you don't need nothing. And that's where they get.
These lifesavers right here, for real. Yeah. If you don't know how to suture, I advise you to get some of them, man. Learn how to use them.
Oh yeah, accidents happen all the time.
But I got sutras too, though. You feel me?
You even got some condoms in there, Ram. What the hell's going on?
Hey man, you never know.
You never know.
I save them for you for a fuck.
Yeah. Put some of them in the box for me too.
I got you.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, that's all the stuff, man. You know, it ain't like I just got it all at once, just building it up though. Learning about the shit, what it do, and how you can use it, man. You know,
there you go.
Save yourself a lot of fucking heartache and pain and money once you learn how to do it. So you see, Eli got the book, but this is the book in practice. You know, all that shit I got up here is in that book, man. So fucking get it, or at least download a PDF, something. You know, aftercare is important.
Yes, sir. Let me see here. Much love to Smooth Monty in the super chat. Back in there heavy. Salute to you, man. He says, Brother Eli, the vet book is very high level, but the stuff I understand is the basic stuff that we can learn to do to save a basic vet visit. Salute, Smooth Monty.
Salute, brothers.
Most
Real
definitely. Salute. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Salute, real game. Appreciate the love, family.
I mean, it'll even help you when you do go to the vet and he explains shit to you. You'll know what he's talking about. You know.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know if he's lying to you too.
Yeah.
That's the part for me. That's the part for me.
Yeah. You know, it's not so much that they're lying, is that they don't know. You know, they really don't know. The one thing I'll say about dog guys in the past, you know, a lot of vets didn't deal with dogs in shock or trauma. You know, that's almost a specialized thing, you know. So they just going along and practicing, trying different stuff. You know, a regular vet just sees regular shit most of the time. And I'm not saying they didn't do that in school, but they don't see it all the time. Where some of the dog people were vet techs, or they had that knowledge. They learned, like Ram is saying, and they could actually do a better job than some vets, you know.
Fact.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. We got another question here.
Oh,
go ahead, brother Bot. You got something?
no, I was gonna say, was it any other ones you wanted to ask? Well, go ahead and ask that. I'm sorry. And then if it was the other ones you had wanted to ask on our regular questions, you would ask my.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to now. That's what I'm going to now. Can the panel share the best and worst breedings they have ever done? And we'll start with you, brother Bot. The best and worst breedings you've done.
I made a breeding that I didn't like too much off of the rocker snapper stuff crossed to my stuff. I mean, and the rocker, I'm not saying nothing bad about the rocker snapper dogs, because they done well and do well with a lot of people, but for some reason they did not work out with mine. And the best cross I ever made, the damn dogs died before they could get even of age. Person brought parvo in my yard and killed 4 of the best dogs I ever had. Never got a chance to grow all the way up, but what they were doing from young, never saw. So, yeah, that would have. I mean, am I to tell a pedigree or just make that mention is what I'm supposed to? I'm asking.
Oh, however you want to do it, brother. You can tell a pedigree if you want to.
Well, okay, I'll just say like I said, I told you, rocker snapper stuff bred to my Tyrone stuff didn't work for me, so I wanted to get rid of all that and got rid of all that. And I had the best one was a champion track downs littermate brother, which is Tyrone's half brother, bred to a Carl Mims snooty bitch, bred to Tyrone. So it was Tyrone bred to a half brother's daughter. Was the best that I ever seen. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Garcia, what's your take? The best breeding you've ever done and the worst?
Yeah, the best I did was the one I mentioned last week, Bill to Lucy. 4 pups, 4 winners, 4 game dogs. I bred the females. They were good producers. That was probably my best breeding. One of the worst ones I had is all of them would go, and they were fast and hard mouth, but most of the litter, they wouldn't scratch. They would not scratch. I think one of them turned out, I gave to my buddy, and she ended up being a good one. She lost, but she lost game. But and fuckers wouldn't scratch, man. It's just something weird that an anomaly that happens in the dog sometimes. I was high on the litter, but they could fight. If you scratch a dog to them, they'd fight. But you set them up, they just stand there, man. Like, you know, so that didn't work out. Some people keep dogs like that. I wouldn't keep dogs like that myself, you know.
Right.
That's just the way I am. But if you saw them in action, man, they'd impress you. And then you go back to the corner, they just stand there. Then you let the dog come to them, and they go back to doing it again. You know, it's kind of similar. That's what Heinzel told me Bambi was like, DIBO's mom. You fight all day, but you wouldn't scratch.
Right. Brother Ram, what's your take on the best breeding you've ever done and the worst?
Well, I got 2 best breedings. We bred old dog back to his sister, and then we bred buckshot back to the same bitch, and they was, you know, same breed in different litters, and both of them produced champions for us. So I was real pleased with that. It was each one threw a champion, a couple 2-time winners and a 1-time winner, and no, two 1-time winners. That one of them was a fucking cur. You just had to bring enough dog to cur him out. So yeah, it'd be that breeding, and then the worst would be we bred the fucking the Heinzel dog Shumway. None of that shit worked, man. That shit was straight motherfucking microwave garbage. That shit did not work at all. And you know, it's just the luck of the draw sometimes. But I just didn't have good luck with none of that Heinzel stuff. So yeah, that would be one of the worst because everyone quit. Like they all looked good until you brought enough motherfucking pressure on them. Then them motherfuckers went to packing it up. Shit was terrible.
Yeah. Brother Eli, what's your take, man? Best and worst breedings you've done.
The best breedings I do, like I did, like brother said, it was two. One of them was one people wouldn't even think about. It was a fucking Maverick Blackjack to some Snooty and the old like Pete Smarts, Pete Sparks, Hendrix, Colby stuff, Colby Lightning stuff. Old dogs, old school dogs, and
Oh,
that
the
shit just like
head trick.
Hendrix, yeah. I mean that shit right there. Matter of fact, the Flojo bitch that I was talking about earlier and the Mocha bitch, they were all for that shit. And when I tell you, deliberate, smart, strong, just great dogs. I got great dogs. I just didn't trust that bottom end in them, and that's what made me get away from them. And if I had it to do all over it, I would have bred them. And the stuff that I ended up getting after that, I would have blended them together. But what ended up, those dogs, they were in the hands of me and like two two other guys, and all of us got great results. And I was like, God damn, you know. So all of us got good results, and that was a good one. And then my midnight cowboy to midnight cowboy and Chance Floyd to my home and shady lady boosting bar stuff. That turned out real good. It's just we fucked that up. Worst breeding I ever had. I ain't gonna say the actual name of it because I see the brother. He come in here sometime and he be booting up, but his the I seen him come here and I seen everybody like yeah. I was thinking to myself like no. But no, I the dog was stacked with cold dogs, man. And it was one good one that had came off of it. And it's something we spoke to last week or a couple weeks ago, just knowing the family. And I didn't really know I had heard all the stories about the family, but I didn't know all the individuals. And after I did the breeding, I made a choice to do this breeding anyway with a dog that was cold because of the stories that I had with the family. Same, it was last week we talked about this, just making a choice. And I was gonna keep them. I'm gonna keep them all. It don't matter, man. Nothing even resembled my dogs other than the look. Nothing even resembled, act like nothing. Worst breeding I ever did. Got nothing out of it. Completely nothing. Dogs like this dog had like two generations of cold dogs, not including himself. Outside of the one that was good, and they had went back like we was talking about earlier. They had went back and bred to that side of the family. It was the wrong choice, and I had those genetics in that breeding, and it showed. So that
Right.
was the worst breeding that I had.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be discouraged by all this what we're talking about, because across the board, that's what happens. Some stuff just doesn't work out from the best. You name it,
Oh
in
yeah.
all
No.
breeding endeavors. You know, some people don't like to admit it, or they just, pass over it, don't say it. But uh, a lot of stuff don't work, and you just discard it and move on and stick with the stuff that does. That's what happens with everybody. So it's nothing to get discouraged about, even
Yeah.
though it can be discouraging. Just keep going.
Like we were saying, the same lines that work for somebody else and coming from another source, they may not work the same. So don't get down on a line to where you think the whole line is trash. You
True.
know, because that's something that I wouldn't do. Those dogs, I wouldn't say that they were all completely trash because I know that they had quality because that's why I went for them. But that particular source of where I chose from, that was my choice. You know.
Yes, indeed. Welcome down, Ram. What's your take, bro?
What was the question?
Best breeding you ever done and
Oh
worst
yeah,
breeding.
yeah, I already answered that. The
You
Okay.
best
answered it.
was
Well,
yeah
Yeah.
that's
with
good.
the old dog, and the
Yeah.
worst was to the
Okay.
Shumway shit.
All right,
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. So let's get to historically speaking, has the panel ever had a dog that looks great while hunting and then gets bored and quits? Can it be fixed or should he be culled? Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, that's something that happens too. I wouldn't keep it. You know, and like we were talking last week, in some rare cases, you know, that's all you got to work with, and you know, because you
I
can
think the
fix
question
stuff.
was, did it happen to you? I think that was the question, not
Did it
generally.
happen to me? Repeat
Right.
that again,
Well,
Bob,
well,
or
well,
7-8.
well. I think the guy is saying he got a dog like this. Is what I think. I was trying. I didn't want to.
Oh,
He says, historically speaking, has the panel ever had a dog
That's
that
what I'm
looks?
saying.
Yes,
Correct.
yes, sir. Has the
Happened to
panel
you. That's a
ha,
personalized question. Right.
has the panel
n-
ever had a dog that looks great while hunting and then gets bored and quits? Can it be fixed or should it be culled?
yeah, I would say that's probably happens to everybody. Can it be fixed? I don't know. I wouldn't venture to find out. I get rid of them. I cull them. And again, culling don't mean killing. It just you don't use it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't keep it. Don't breed it. You know, I had a certain way of doing things, and you know, a lot of times it's hard to fix something. You know, and sometimes it's better just to discard it and move on with something else. You know, I'm sure there'll be all kinds of success stories. People say I that happened to me and I did this and that, but again, when you have that in there, you know, you may breed it and you get something good out of it. Somewhere that's going to come out. So you're trying to reduce that stuff. You're trying to eliminate it as much as you can. And I just wasn't that. You know, that's where I had a discrepancy with a lot of the old time guys. You know, about cold dogs and dogs that quit and still produce and all that. That wasn't good enough for me. So I wouldn't do it. Everybody has their method. Everybody has their way. Because in my mind, I had the foresight. Well, you know, at some point that stuff's going to come out, and that's the stuff I don't like. So why would I keep it and try and fix it? And I just eliminate it off the bat and get rid of it. You know, that I
Yes,
didn't do
sir.
things that way.
Indeed. Brother Bakri, what's your take on that?
Well, I'm gonna have to say I never had that happen to me. So, never happened because my schooling process is very, 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 very difficult, and I'm not sitting around there gonna. That's not gonna happen. I'm only gonna use finishing dogs. So, as far as getting bored, no, that's why you hear me every time come up on the show saying about I go finishers first, everything else last. That's just me. So I've never had a dog get bored of kicking some ass. No, I haven't had that problem. Nope. No. And
Yes,
far
sir.
as fixing something, that would be fixed in your culling and knowing what traits you're dealing with. I mean, if you're not, that gets all the way back to the breeding that we were talking about earlier. That's why I do so much line breeding and inbreeding because I already know what I'm getting. It's no guessing game. I could sit here and tell you what every litter I'm gonna have is gonna do. Every one of them. I'm not great sit there and guess. I don't have no guessing time. Ain't nobody getting younger. We get older. Don't nobody got 2 to 3 years on their time chart to keep around experimenting and playing with shit. No, I need to know exactly what I'm getting. That's the only thing I'm gonna do. So if they're not finishing type dogs that I'm not breeding to a line outside of my line, It's not finishers. Now, I'm not saying everything in my line is going to finish, but those, as what he said, they'll be given away to homes of people who need anxiety, emotional dogs. You can have it, but they are not fitting my program. So no, I have never had one that goes to a hunt and said, I'm tired of fucking with this hog. No, never had.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Walking down Ram, what's your take?
What was the question? I have one look good in school, or what was it again?
No.
I was in the chat.
It said, historically speaking, has the panel ever had a dog that looked great while hunting and then gets bored and quits? Can that be fixed, or should it be cold?
Nah, I don't fuck with no goddamn rank curve, and that's exactly what a rank curve is, motherfucker. You quitting while you ahead, so I wouldn't know how to fix that shit because that motherfucker out of there. He out the program. You kicked off the hood. You getting quoted out. All of that shit, man. Hell no. But like OG Bach was saying, I'd rather see that shit when it's free at the house than fucking have to pay a motherfucker. You know, whatever we've wagered just for that motherfucker to do that shit. So yeah, my schooling process, we gonna filter out through all of that, you know. Now I'd have been tricked before. There been some motherfuckers who was bad and curved, but they wasn't ahead when they curved. You feel me? The motherfuckers was way behind and didn't like that shit.
Right. Totally
That
different.
happened too. But yeah, exactly. But one ahead, fuck no. Hell no, you gotta go, partner. We don't rock like that, cuz.
Yeah, that's like the worst type of cur, isn't it?
Worse.
Hell yeah. Very worse. You was way ahead and just said, fuck it, I'm done. Hell no.
Right.
You motherfucker.
You be
I
mad
didn't
as
see
fuck.
it happen. Yeah, I didn't see it happen. This shit be funny as hell, boy.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be
But
mad.
no, if you go quit on me, you go quit at home for free, goddamn it.
Exactly. You can't do nothing but be mad. Really be mad at yourself for not finding out before you went there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brother Eli, what's your take on it, man?
I gotta agree with the brothers. Like we've been saying over and over and over. You find out at home. You know, you set your standard and keep to your standard. I mean, that same thing that Schoolboy said. You know, the old timers and him having a difference. I had that same difference. You know, and like, hey man, but they do this, but they got this, they got that, they got this. I can't keep that. For one, when I had dogs, I only had 5 to 10 dogs at best, and most times it was around 5 to 7 dogs, and that's all I had. So everything that I had to be good. It couldn't be mediocre. It couldn't be half. I couldn't keep nothing just because. And the one time that I stepped out was the worst breeding that I did, and I never did that again. I understood that I only have this, so I have to set the standard. I don't have $30. I don't have $40, $50. I didn't have that. All I had was 5 to 7 dogs, and all 5 to 7 of them. If you got me tonight, you rest assured I got another one. That's what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let me get this question here. Schooling tactics. Okay. What was the panel's? This is all historically speaking. What was the panel's schooling tactics? For your hounds. That goes right into what we were just talking about. Brother Bach, let's start with you.
1 second.
Okay.
Repeat that question. I'm sorry. Repeat that.
Schooling tactics. What was your schooling tactics to prevent situations like we just talked about?
I'm not going to say that's a schooling tactic to prevent that. I just thought you mean what's our schooling tactic.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what's your schooling tactics?
I just told you before in terms of just that particular question in terms of the schooling that I think anybody that is true to their schooling should always, okay, let me just say this to schooling period. So it hits on any type of anything. If you go to school your dog, a school is not a damn roll. It's two different things. If I'm rolling my dog, I'm trying to see it after I already schooled the dog out to see if it learned from the things that I taught it, and things of that nature, and see if, you know, how it does with me not stopping it every few seconds or minute to, you know what I mean, to see what I wanted to do or where I wanted to get hit at or hit something. So that means I'm going to just free flow and saying I'm going to roll this dog, say, for so many minutes, just not stopping it or nothing, just to see if it can get out of trouble or whatever, you know, or put something in trouble. That's rolling the dogs. But my actual schooling technique, for instance, like I asked a person, like, I mean, like people ask me things, or I say to them things like this here. If you got a, you got a show going, and I ask you, what did you do for your 6 to 8 weeks in terms of preparation for your dog? And again, before I go here, we talking about way back in the day. We ain't talking about nothing glorification of dog fighting today. We talking about back then. All right. So back then, I asked you, what would you do to prepare your dog for the match? And people would say, well, I'm conditioning my dog. That's not preparing them for a fight so much in terms of skill set. That's just condition the dog. And what I mean by that is, so something that I done that very few people who know me, I told this to. So what I did is I believed the most prepared person is going to be the best person there, especially when you got a good ass dog. So if my drink for preparation was, say if I ate at 9 o'clock at night, what I'm going to do is at 20 minutes before that, I'm going to take my dog in a car, ride it around a few blocks, get out the car, take the collar off the dog in the car, walk my dog up, weigh my dog, wash my dog, and put him in a pit with his mouth taped up, with another dog taped up, and let them run in each other for 10 minutes. Pull the tape off the other one, let my shit get whole, break them off immediately, take the other one out the box. Then I did that before I fed up. I did that shit every damn day for 6 to 8 weeks. So who gonna be the most prepared when we come there? My shit gonna know everything, because the same thing gonna happen the night of it does for 6 to 8 weeks. Every day. So that was one of my biggest schooling techniques, to know that mine's gonna be prepared the night of the show. Okay. Second thing is, I asked you, what do you do for your dog's mouth work? They say, well, I do flirting and spring pole. That don't have a goddamn thing to do with a closed mouth. If a mouth is not opening up, closing repetitiously, then it's just a closed mouth. That's not working out his jaws at all. So you would definitely have to use the beef knuckles, cow knuckles, or bison bones to have your dog increase the mouth pressure, which I would stop 2 weeks out. So the teeth that would be able to harden back up in the mouth. And normally I could take a 6 mouth and create an 8. I can create an 8 mouth to a 10, and so forth. All right. So I'll just give up those 2 tips of those gems of my particular schooling technique.
Yes, sir. Now, see, thought I was special. I had all that to myself. Now everybody knows it. Brother Bach gave me them jewels a long time ago. All right. Mr. Garcia, what's your take on it?
Yeah, about the mouth, what Bach was saying, you know, that beef knuckle, that's the best thing, because they're actually working their mouth, working their jaws. And you have to back off on it, because then the muscles will relax back into place.
Correct.
They can get muscle bound. And then if you've ever done it wrong, like I have, they ain't biting with their whole mouth. They're just biting with the front part of their teeth. If you're using if you don't use the spring pole properly, or tug of war or peg work, you know, people would just let them do it however the dogs do it. If I was doing tug of war, I'd take what I'm using, and I shove it to the back of their mouth. But the best thing for me was big old bones, raw beef knuckle bone. That's the best thing for working their mouth. And if we talking about rolling dogs back in the day, I didn't have any set pattern. There's all kinds of writings about it. There's all kinds of people will mention it. You know, I give them a few minutes this, and the next time I do this and that. I didn't do that. I just took advantage of a situation where it was. For example, Clayton Blood. First time I rolled him was against his brother. It was in the middle of summertime, and his first roll, he went 15 minutes with one brother, 15 minutes with the other brother. And the reason I did that is because after 15 minutes in the heat, he was breathing great. It didn't bother him. So I said, shit, well, I just, you know, I want to get his brother in there, the other brother in there too, give him some time. The brothers ran a little bit hot, but he never did, never took a breath. And then I rolled him again for 40 minutes after that, and then I matched him. And depending on the situation, it might be a few minutes. You know, if they're getting hurt bad, I'm going to stop it. If not, I'm gonna let it go. And whatever the situation is, I just followed it along that way, you know. And you're trying to see, like Bob said, what are they doing? How are they doing it? It's in dogs for that competition, that competitive spirit, and to fight. But it's more than that, because you want to see how they're actually doing, how they thinking, how they moving. So I didn't have a set pattern like you see written in a lot of these books, you know, because if you follow that pattern, sometimes a situation comes up, and if your method tells you, well, I'm going to stop it at 15 minutes, you know, then you might miss an opportunity to see something. If it says, you know, if you don't have that in your head, you're going to let it go, you know. And just all kinds of different things, but that's where I was different from a lot of people. I didn't have a set way of doing it. I just watched the dogs, took advantage of the situation, whatever it was at the time. And you know, if I see a dog was pulling up or act like funny, or they're going to quit, I just leave them there. I didn't stop it. I wasn't the type, well, maybe next time, maybe next time, maybe next time, you know, they'll do better. Right. I was going to see it right there. And it's hard, but you know, their life is hard. If you were competing back in the day, dogs got to be tough and durable, and you know, show you that finish and intelligence, all that stuff. So if the opportunity presents itself for you to see it, I would let it go. I want to see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed, Brother Eli. What was your schooling tactics back in the day?
I mean, just like the brother said, the biggest key word for me that I would have to say was development. Look at it like you develop. You know, don't look at it from your ego standpoint. You know, like Schoolboy was just saying. You know, a lot of people try to measure it by the clock, but when you seeing what you're seeing, you know, it's all situational. It's not one of those things where, oh, I'm going to get 45 minutes today. That when I first was young, that was the thing. 45 minutes, 45 minutes. That was the magic number. But shit, 45 minutes with two serious animals that got the tools, you're probably not gonna see that right then and there. You know. So it was being situational and developing them. You know, if you're seeing an animal giving you all it got, but it is like we were talking about earlier, the straightforward stuff. You know, if it's just straightforward, chasing, is giving you all it's got. You know, scratching true. You know, put it up next time. See if it learned from that last situation. You know, if it learned from that last situation, you're like, okay, then you know you can sharpen up those skills. You can sharpen up those things by giving him different things to look at. If you have that on your yard, or if you know somebody with that, you can give them different things to look at, and you know you can sharpen up from. If it's the same thing repeatedly, then you know what you got right then and there. You know, so for me, long story short, those are the biggest aspects: developing, analyzing, and knowing what you got from one time to the next. That's my take on
Yes, sir. Salute to Jimmy Mack in that super chat. Appreciate the love, family. Much love, Jimmy Mack. Hey, Ram, what's your schooling tactics, brother?
Man, I ain't got no schooling tactics. I ain't giving up none of that game. Fuck y'all. So, pretty much the same like how the OG said.
Damn raised
But
crazy.
my thing was when I'm first starting them up, when I was first starting them up, just talking like I still got hella dogs and shit, which I don't. But I would want to see if they would scratch first. I didn't care about the fighting. You gonna fight to know how to fight, especially if I bred you. Well, would want to see, if you willing to engage. So the first couple of looks, I'll be letting them go and fucking breaking them up and scratching them. Just keep repeating that. I ain't really, like I say, I ain't care about the fight. You can fight, I can fight, but is you motherfucking, do you got, the wherewithal to want to go back into that shit? A lot of dogs, even though they ain't getting hurt, they get frustrated because you keep taking them out of hold and they're fucking pack it up right there. So that was just one of the tips that I would I'll share with y'all. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Can I
But
say
that's
one
it.
thing? Can I
Yeah,
before
absolutely.
if you're not finished? Are you finished or are you
No,
still
yeah,
going, man?
No, go ahead. That was it, OG.
Okay, I just wanted to say this because a lot of people I've noticed back in the day messed up a lot of good dogs, and I mean I was one of them. I mean it's part of the process, and one thing I did learn and was key is I seen people who said they got 2 and 3 on one. I thought that was just stupid as shit to me always because at no time will they ever be against 2 or 3 when they were hunting. It was just, you know what I mean? So what I noticed is if you had a good long roll, what I did was let both of them let the adrenaline fall on them, put them in 2 separate crates, and then let an hour or 2 go by. Take the same 2 goddamn joints, place them back in the hookup. One of the motherfuckers don't want to go. I'm just telling you, and one will. So that's how you pretty much knew how pretty much game you were. All right. So so you can have them do 2 or 3 in a row, and that's still not giving you a whole lot to say what they did unless you taking them all the way to the end, and you're gonna either kill them or cur them out. But you can go 30 or 40 minutes and stop it. Wait an hour or 2 later, put the same 2 back in, and you'll see just what you want to see. All right.
Or the next day.
Well, yeah, it could be the next day.
Try doing it the next day.
Right.
You'll see how they act.
But
And it's a
normally
good.
after 2 hours, the adrenaline has stopped. I'm saying they
Yeah,
already,
yeah. They
you
settle
understand?
down.
They settled
Yeah,
down, bro. Yeah.
yeah. That'll show you right away.
Yep.
Go ahead, 7-8.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, this was an excellent, excellent show. Thank y'all for joining us. Everybody that tuned in and hit that like button and donated, I appreciate that. Salute to the panel. You know what I mean? We'll be back next week with another excellent episode. Ram, why don't you give us a disclaimer real quick? Like,
Hey, Newberg's finest. They had some good ones, but they didn't have the best off old dog. We sold old dog, but we kept his brother, who was way better. Like I always say, I sell you your best dog, but I won't sell you mine. You feel me? But as always, none of this shit is intended for, nor should it be used towards any illegal fucking activities. But if you is out there with the bullshit, man, keep it off the fucking internet. Keep it to yourself. It is okay to keep a secret. It's the weekend, so don't be drinking and driving, and watch out for the suckers, man. It's Valentine's Day, so it's all right to love your woman and buy her some shit. Go on and do it. You feel me? She'll thank you with men's flowers later, and that's a blowjob. You feel me? Other than that, man, it was a fucking excellent cook. Salute to the OGs, man, for giving us this good game. Salute to the brother Eli, and of course my motherfucking partner in crime 7-8, man. We'll see y'all boys next week.
yes,
Salute.
sir.
Good talk. Good
Yes,
talk.
sir.
Hey,
Much
Yes.
hey,
love.
you want your dogs registered? You see it right there, man. Hit up Schoolboy. His link is in the description under here. International
And
Coalition Dog Registry. That shit is real.
Yes, sir.
and one other
Thank you.
before you get, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. To some of the brothers I see saying my name, and there, much love to people. I couldn't really answer a lot of your hookups I see there, but most of the time, the way the brother 78 does it, if you go ahead and hit the super chat, is a definitely answer of question.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Brother Newberry was saying, he was introducing himself. I guess he know you from back in the day. I think his name was Latino something from back in the day.
Rude Boy. Yeah, he said something about Rude Boy. Rude Boy was a beast off of Rick Rude. Yes, sir. He was a badass dog. And but like I said, I would have answered a lot more of his stuff, but I wanted to answer what you had going on. But I was like, if you definitely want to ask individual questions, then just hit the super chat. Then we will definitely take our time to answer them in great details. All I'm saying.
Most definitely. And salute to brother Smooth Monty back in that super chat, showing love. Appreciate the support, brother. He says Ram got the best disclaimers. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's true. And it's true.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Have a good Valentine's Day if you celebrate that with your woman and stuff like that, man. And y'all enjoy yourself. 1 second. CJ in the Cash App. Appreciate the love. He said phenomenal cook. Thank you, family. Thank y'all. Appreciate the support.
Salute.
All right, we'll see y'all next week, man. Spread the word about the show. Share the show. All that good stuff. We up out of here, man. Deuces.